For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
B&A Petroleum is a Southern Saskatchewan family-owned business that's there for you. They've been supporting their clients for over 30 years with locations in several communities throughout the southern part of the province. B&A Petroleum is available for all your bulk fuel and lubricant needs, with propane at selected locations Monday to Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
It's Power Bill Day.
This is Tim.
Hooray, hooray, it's Power Bill Day.
Tim loves getting his monthly power bill because Tim's power bill is teeny. Tim has a residential solar system from Keln Solar. It powers his home, and excess power is sent back to the grid for credits on his Sask power bill.
Give me those savings. Yeah.
Get a teeny tiny power bill.
Just like me. Woo!
Get a quote on a Keln Solar residential solar system at kelnsolar.com.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Regina Motor Products, proudly serving Saskatchewan for over 70 years. Visit rmpchevrolet.com today. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome, and yes, it is the Wednesday edition of the all-new Sportscage. Barney Shinkaruk, you see him right there on the stream. Chris Harris, and the C's are in the production company seats today. No Alan Lee. We gave him the sheriff the day off. It is for Regina Motor Products, our new sponsor of the Wednesday show, and receive up to $100 in instant rebates on select brands of winter tires. So if you waited, if you thought you were smarter than everybody else, and you're like, I might get to go through the whole year without winter tires, might get to tough it out. It's already November. Well, there's only 3 months of winter left? No, just bite the bullet. Find it in your kitty somewhere. Winter tires, what a deal though! $100 off. Some of them you can visit the good girls and guys at Regina Motor Products. Next 3 hours, Campbell fired in Vancouver with the BC Lions. Farhan Lalji is going to join us right off the hop here. I'm very curious. Was this kind of known about a while ago? Is this bad? Is Edmonton? Is there tampering? What's going on here? So Farhan will jump in. We'll talk about that. I watched the Saskatoon Blades and Medicine Hat Tigers play last night, and I just wanted to get eyeballs on both of these teams. And have you watched Harry? Have you watched the Blades play live this year yet? No. Okay.
No.
I need to watch both teams play more, is what I realized. But was it skilled and fast? And I don't know if the Saskatoon Blades are sellers. How far away are they? And do they have anything that they can maybe bring in some assets? We'll talk WHL hockey, especially with our friend Ryan Swïtzer from Swift Current in hour 2. The Swift Current Broncos are surprise of the league. They're playing some good hockey. They got one of their snipers just committed to NCAA, as that's going on everywhere. Eric Francis in hour 2. Your guess is as good as ours where that's going to go. That conversation. We've gone ping pong. We've gone Stratomatic hockey in the last 2 weeks. Blockbuster video. Blockbuster video. If you got a topic that you want us to just go off the rails on with Eric Francis, send it into the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer, 936-6262. Mark McConkey from the Regina Rams. He's had a few days to decompress. On his way to the Vanier Cup, stranded in Calgary. So he's going to join us from the airport in Calgary. Hopefully he found, maybe he's loud on the phone talking in lounge guy. That's the worst guy in an airport. The guy that walks around, he's probably got earbuds in his pocket, but regardless, he's going to just talk loud on his phone so everyone knows how important he is. That won't be Mark. He'll join us, I think, in hour 3, we're hoping, because there's a lot of disruptions when it comes to travel. And then to finish in hour 3 as well, we have Gerry Johannson from the hockey, the agency slipping my mind. He's a big hockey agent. He owns the agency.
The Sports Corporation.
He's going to talk about what's going on at the BC Hockey League. There's upwards, I hear, as of today, upwards of 50 players that are trying to get reinstated into Hockey Canada so they can now go play Western Hockey League. That is a staggering number. What are they going to do? Gerry's got his finger on the pulse of everything. If you look through their website on the players that they represent, they know what they're doing. Very curious to ask him a number of questions. How it's going. What is Hockey Canada allowing this to happen? Or is Hockey Canada saying, pound sand, we told you it was going to be a year? I don't think that's the case, because the other news is Casey Brown from Regina, who went to play in Penticton. I heard he's back in Regina and just waiting for this to go through, and he's going to join the Moose Jaw Warriors. So, because he's a commit to ASU already. It's in the hockey world. There's so many things that are going down there. So lucky that Gerry's going to join us as well. Yeah, so full show, lots of fun, and when Harry's on with me, it's always a great time. What's going on up there? How bad is it in Saskatoon as far as weather-wise?
It's snowy. It's definitely snowy. It snowed I would almost say a winter's worth in 24 hours. It's pretty deep. It's lots of shoveling. I shoveled and snowplowed for over 2 hours last night when I got home.
The stubborn Ukrainian in me still will not buy a snowblower, even though Prairie Land Rentals has them on sale right now. Husqvarna's up to $400 off. There's a plug for a client. That drift. There was a school closed in Regina today. Did you guys get this? It was just a wall of snow that they couldn't plow through. So they just said we're shutting her down. Parents, don't bring your kids, which really sucks if you're a parent. If you're out working in this and you got young kids, it's tough. Buses weren't running. AAA midget hockey, also known as U18, Pat C's, Estevan canceled. I don't know if there's any other cancellations. If there is, everyone can let us know. The roads are awful out there. Drive safe. You've heard it all before. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. No one wants to cook in weather like this unless you can make really good soup. So Western Pizza is your go-to tonight. All the Greek favorites you love. The big pizza with all the ample toppings. Farhan Lalji from TSN joining us. Perfect. We were going to talk today anyway, and then all the big news when it comes to the CFL and kind of sporting world in Canada happens in Vancouver today. Rick Campbell let go by the BC Lions. Farhan, first off, was this like old news? Did you know this was coming down a while ago, or is this a surprise to you?
No, it's not a surprise. I think many of us kind of thought this was the direction the organization would head in. But truthfully, like for all the people who thought this decision had been made, like Rick Campbell was in here yesterday still talking personnel with Neil McAvoy and Ryan Rigmaiden, right? And the president and the owner kind of went through a bit of a process, and then yesterday they made this morning they made the decision and informed him. I mean, I think last night they made it, and this morning they informed him, but it wasn't the done deal everyone assumed it was. They did have to go through a process. They wanted to wait until after Grey Cup started. But look, ultimately this team really, really underachieved and disappointed relative to expectations and what was spent on it. So here we are, right? Coaching change after 4 years.
Who would be the front runner there? Is it Buck Pierce?
BC's already asked for permission to speak to Buck Pierce. So that's he'll be one of the guys. And I do think they kind of want to lean offensively, right? So I think that's part of it. I think Jordan McSimic will get a real opportunity here to interview and potentially be the head coach, right? And that's kind of common, right? I mean, I know that Saskatchewan did it differently. They just went through the process and they weren't hung up on what the side of the ball profile was of who they hired, right? And Corey Mace did such a good job in his presentation that he was hard not to get excited about. But I do think here the offensive guys might have a bit of an edge. And I just think there's so many defensive guys available league-wide that I think teams kind of go through this where you fast-track offensive people simply because you want to get that side of the ball taken care of. So, but I do think that Mark Killam will get strong consideration as well. As a special teams guy, I do think Mark Washington, formerly of Hamilton, but a longtime BC Lions player and assistant, I think will get some interest, and there'll be some others. So, they talked today about interviewing 8 to 10 candidates, but as I see it, I think Pierce and McSimic probably become the front runners.
Farhan, this seems like it's got to be more of a big picture move. I mean, when you look at it at the end of the day, they're only 2 wins away from the Grey Cup. If they win and they make the West Final, does this move still happen? Like, how it's got to be part of a bigger picture moving forward.
Well, look, I think it's easy to say it was just 2 games, but it isn't. Like, look, if the Lions went 12-6 again and just looked better all season, but wound up getting upset in an early playoff game, I think the conversation would be different, right? When we got to the final month of the season, I felt that if the Lions lost in the first round and didn't have a home playoff game and went meekly into the night, which ultimately is what happened, that there was going to have to be a decision made and the team's going to have to go through a process. Whereas if the team had just played better during the season, even if they didn't have the playoff success, I don't think you react. So it's easy to look at it and say they were just 2 wins away, but this team was not a contender. They were legitimately not close. Who thought they were going to win the game in Saskatchewan? And had they gone to Winnipeg, who thought they were going to win that game? Just based on their form over a larger sample size this season, I think that's what you look at as opposed to a team that theoretically was 2 wins away, because for all practical purposes, they actually weren't.
Did he have that locker room? Was he liked for, do you think from the guys that you're around that team a lot?
Like isn't the right word, right? I just think that I do think he lost portions of the locker room based on how he handled the quarterback situation. And I think that's hindsight. You talk to the people here and everybody here, myself included, felt like at some point Nathan Rourke was going to revert back to 2022 Nathan Rourke, that it was just going to happen, and then we wouldn't be having a quarterback conversation. Whereas last year when it happened and they didn't give Vernon an opportunity, like right away, should they have kept the door open that Vernon was going to get his job back or had a window to get his job back? They probably should have done that. That certainly took Vernon aback, and certain players were taken aback. Now, let's say they had done that and then Nathan hit it out of the park and played at 2022 levels and they just kept the job with him, you wouldn't get the pushback. But then they didn't make the commitment to Vernon in 2024 that they did to Nathan in 22. Then he didn't perform to that level, so just kind of the way it was handled. And I say this before, this is purely in hindsight. They handled it wrong purely in hindsight, because you can get why they did some of what they did when those decisions were made.
Over under a week that he's announced a head coach in Edmonton.
It's a good question. They haven't asked for permission yet, but that's only because Rick was informed this morning. I think they will ask for permission, but yeah, probably. I would probably say just over a week. I don't think this process takes that long, but I do think that Mark Killam is going to get serious consideration. I think Jordan McSimic might as well. Jordan probably gets more consideration if they think they might lose him to BC, right? Because I think if you want to keep Trey Ford as your quarterback, you better get the offensive coordinator right. And when you look at what McSimic did to both Rourke in 22 and Vernon Adams in 24, and in 23 as well, I think you got to find a way to get him there. So I do think those 2 other names will get consideration, but certainly Rick Campbell will rightfully be the heavy betting favorite.
League-wise, what else are you curious about in the short term here when it comes to the league?
Where Vernon Adams winds up in a trade, and I think it's going to be Calgary, but I'm trying to get a sense of what the actual market is. Because, I do think that while certain teams seem solidified at the position, the guy they're locked into, is older. And so there might be a bigger market than you think. I think we'll find that out in the next couple of days. Certainly the one team we know for sure that's going to have an interest in Vernon is Calgary. But I'm curious to see, how committed Edmonton is to Trey Ford, and how committed some of these other teams are to their older veteran quarterbacks.
And what kind of asking price comes with that move?
Well, it depends on the size of the market, right? I mean, if it's only Calgary will probably push back and say, we're not going to give you a first-round pick. We'll wait for you to release them. But if there is a legitimate market, and all it takes is two, if two teams legitimately want them, then they're going to get a first-round draft pick. Now, Edmonton doesn't have a first-round draft pick, so it might have to be a different type of compensation. But, I would think that that's probably a reasonable asking price, given the fact that BC traded him for a first. They gave up a first to get him back, and he's a significantly better player now than he ever has been. So his value should only be higher, even if teams aren't desperate in the offseason like BC was when they acquired him 3 seasons ago.
What would we have for odds for talking gambling? Maybe plus 1,600 odds that the Riders are interested?
I think the Riders are intrigued more so than interested, right? Like I do think they understand as an organization that they got to look down the road, right? But I think they're really happy with Trevor Harris. I think they're aligned in that. And I think they've already talked about Trevor Harris coming back, I talked to Trevor last week, and it sounds like any family concerns there might be are behind him, and he's got full support of his family to come back. He just wants to make sure his body's in the right place and that the organization knows that he doesn't want to just play one more year. He'd like to play, 2 to 3, and I think he would like to sign a multi-year contract, as proof of that. So I think all those things are part of that. So I think there's a comfort level. Mark Mueller and Trevor get along really, really well, but I know that Mueller also has a lot of respect for VA. So I think, again, intrigued more so than heavily in the market in this moment.
Where do you think Cody Fajardo plays next year?
My gut tells me that he will be potentially a backup quarterback in Edmonton. He or Jake Mayer might wind up there. I don't think they want to let Davis Alexander out of the building in Montreal. No one has told me that Cody's on the block, but Cody at the end of the year himself said that if it might not be the best thing to have 2 elite quarterbacks in the same building, right? So, is there a huge difference between Davis Alexander and Trey Ford? I don't know. But certainly Trey Ford's demonstrated a bit of an injury history that you could go there and maybe you could, find yourself there for a year. Could they both wind up back in Montreal? They could. I think it's unlikely, but I really think it's even more unlikely that Montreal lets Davis Alexander go.
Okay, get the notebook out, Colson. Okay, we've had this debate all week. We're asking you. We're putting Farhan Lalji's name, and then we're going to ask you. We're shifting to the NFL now. Okay, a lot of hard questions today, Farhan. You can say the Kansas City Chiefs, but we went around the horn all week so far. What is the team that beats the Kansas City Chiefs this year in the playoffs?
The Detroit Lions.
In the Super Bowl, then?
Yeah. I like Buffalo's going to do what Buffalo does, and they're not going to beat Kansas City in the playoffs. Now, look, when Kansas City gets to a Super Bowl, I have a difficult time seeing them lose because that's their place, right? Like that's what they do. So, the right answer might be the Kansas City Chiefs, and it depends on what their health and injuries and everything like that look like. But I'm not on Bills Mafia. I think if any team's going to beat them, it's going to be the Detroit Lions.
They get to the Super Bowl, and so they're exact opposite, basically, of the Blue Bombers. But we had around the horn, we've had Pittsburgh, we've had Buffalo, we've had a Philadelphia Eagles, we've had Detroit Lions. Darian said Detroit Lions as well yesterday, right, Darian? And then I said Baltimore. So I don't think they're coming out of the AFC.
Of all those teams, I don't think has a chance. I don't think Philadelphia does. Of all those teams, I think the other teams could. Right? I don't want to dismiss them entirely, but Kansas City's got playoff magic. They proved last year they don't have to be at home to win. But right now, things line up for them to be at home. There's a game coming up, I think, December 8th when they play the Chargers. I think is going to be really intriguing. I think that's the only team that has a chance to beat them the rest of the season. So, I really like Kansas City's odds of getting back there. They're only going to get healthier as things progress here.
Yeah.
That team has a greater opportunity to get better by the time we get to late December than anybody else.
Since it's my game, I got 2. I put a long shot on Houston as well. Sneaky Houston in the playoffs. Hey, is San Fran for real, or are we writing them off?
Yeah, we're writing them off. They haven't shown us anything. I mean, look, Seattle is not a good football team. Like, they are not good. And for Seattle to go there in San Francisco and beat them with Christian McCaffrey at full health, like, their top playmakers aren't making plays right now. And then you got George Kittle kind of in and out with injuries. So a lot's riding on McCaffrey, a lot's riding on Brock Purdy, and their defense isn't playing at an elite level. I know Bosa got hurt, and that kind of allowed Seattle to tread water a little bit when they were in that game. It may have been different if Bosa stays in for the entire 4 quarters. But every week I wait for San Francisco to turn the corner, and every week I'm disappointed.
I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. Okay, last one before I let you go. And this is strictly for gambling purposes for me. This week, who should I put money on to win the college football playoff?
To win the college football playoff, I'm going to say Georgia. Whoever comes out of the SEC is going to be so battle tested this year. I'm not there on Oregon yet. Now, look, I'm biased. I'll admit that. But I'm not there because I saw so many flaws earlier in the season, and I saw some in that Wisconsin game as well. Ohio State, I still like.
They're the favorite. They're the favorite where I sprinkle.
I know. And I like them. And look, they were the favorite coming into the year, but they're getting injuries along the offensive line. I'm not convinced in them at the quarterback position. So I just think that whoever comes out of the SEC is going to be so battle-tested that's going to be the team. And from what I've seen thus far, I like Georgia better than Alabama and Tennessee.
Roll Tide. All right, Farhan, thanks so much. Let's regroup next week, and hopefully it's another day like this with a lot to talk about.
Thanks, pal. Talk to you soon.
Farhan Lalji from TSN joining us. Time for a quick break. It is the all-new Sportscage streaming at sportscage.com.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op, proud supporter of our community with over 500 donations to local charities and nonprofits annually.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM. 620 CKRM on location.
And a good afternoon. It's Cody Clayton back here in Leroy for the Leroy Leisure Lotto. Thanks to Gerry out in Fort Capel. He called up and said, yep, I want my ticket into that draw drum for $130,000 in cash. And you never know, is it going to go to you this year? I know a lot of people tend to say, I don't win a darn thing. I'm so unlucky. If it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. And I can guarantee you, everybody said the exact same thing last year and the year before and the year before that. Well, you can see where this is going. And they got phone calls saying that they won a whole bunch of money. 34 chances to win in the Leroy Leisure Lotto. I hope you're going to be one of them Saturday night starting at 8 o'clock. $130,000. We all know what we could do with $130,000. I'm sure you have an idea. 1-866-925-3769. 1-866-925-3769.
And now diving for Team Rat.
Barry, get down from there.
Why? The family left an entire pot of gravy out here just cooling in the garage.
I know, but it's not for us. Just because they won't call Busy Bee and get their garage door fixed doesn't mean we should take such liberties.
Okay. Whoa! 10 points.
Call Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Just get out of there. We just won't tell them.
Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Don't get caught when the snow starts to fly. It's never too early to start thinking about Degelman's industry-leading bulldozer blades. No two tractor manufacturers are alike, so why would you trust a blade that's one size fits all? Degelman engineers, designs, and individually builds all bulldozer tractor fit-ups to ensure proper mounting locations are the best spot to push from. Protecting your tractor investment. Visit the Build-A-Blade feature on Degelman.com for more information. Degelman, engineered tough.
We want your business on board for the Harvard Media Online Auction. It's easy. All you've got to do is provide items like gift cards, experiences, services, or whatever cool product you have. And in exchange, we'll give you a world-class marketing campaign. No entry fee or cash outlay, just a good old trade deal. That hammer could be coming down for you. Just hit up harvardmedia.com and join in on all the excitement. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Shannon Forrester with Floor Coverings International. We pride ourselves on making our customers' flooring experience seamless. From the in-home consultation, to installation, to our final walkthrough, we ensure that you are completely satisfied. Your home is your sanctuary, and it's probably your biggest investment. When you need new floors, you want to make sure you're working with a team you can trust. But don't take our word for it. Listen to this Google review from Cassandra.
What a great experience having this company redo our flooring. The sales reps were fantastic, super friendly, punctual, and educated. The installers were so fast and did incredible work. Their attention to detail throughout the project was impeccable. They were friendly, on time, and always in communication during the whole process. We'll definitely be recommending Floor Covering International to friends and family.
Check out our Google reviews and see why we are the 5 stars of flooring. Don't let our name fool you. We are locally owned and operated. Visit floorcoveringsinternational.com today.
The straw that broke the camel's back? What does that even mean? Do camels even use straws? Are we talking paper or plastic? If you think this Saskatchewan winter might be the straw that breaks the camel's back, at least your local Cooper tire dealer carries Cooper Discoverer Snowclaw winter tires. Cooper Discoverer Snowclaw winter tires provide exceptional grip and traction in the snow and ice. See your local Cooper tire dealer for Cooper Discoverer Snowclaw winter tires. And give that poor camel a break.
The all-new Sports Cage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
Somebody messaging in on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. This is a bit ago. Harbor Landing Road, barely, that's all caps too, barely passable. Worst at turnoff to the old Walmart. I come in from NOD. I take the back road on that highway. So I drive 11 for a bit. I wouldn't want to be going anywhere. There was a semi-driver in front of me. I don't know if he's ever driven on ice before. So I really, I geared down. I hung out way in the back. Like if this guy goes into the ditch, I'm letting him go. And then I'm just praying for a load of hockey sticks to come flying.
The two schools that are closed were St. Joseph's and Plainsview, which are up on the north side of the west side of the city. So they're just out in the open. That's why they're covered in snow. But I'm in the east end of the city, right at the end of where the development is. So yeah, we got those big snow drifts all over our yard and the roads right now.
It's I would like to see pictures of the wall of snow at the schools. Because for that to happen and for them not to be able to plow it so early and all that, like that is ridiculous. I know all the parents out there, and not just in the cities, small towns especially, small town buses, those are usually the first to go. No way, Jose. And there were parents that grinded to get their kids to school today. So bravo to you guys, and I know a lot of you got to work, right? And if your kids are young and they can't take care of themselves, I remember those days. It's like, well, it's basically a paper, rock, scissors tournament on who's going to stay home with the kids, with me and the wife.
Sorry, did you say paper, rock, scissors? Most people say rock, paper, scissors.
I go paper, rock, scissors.
You're a different kind of guy.
Old school.
Are you just realizing that now?
Okay, great segue. But if you've ever seen different kind of cats, the Agribition freestyle bullfighting is coming back. That's next week at Agribition. Here's the video. If you're watching the stream, look at this. These guys are lunatics. They are jumping over bulls. They are basically teasing bulls. They're going into the ring and they're teasing them and wanting to die. Like this is coming again to Agribition. I don't know how this is. Like, some of the stuff that we can't do in society these days, and then this is how it should be. People want to get in there and do that. Let them go.
They should be disqualified from free healthcare for doing that.
Hey,
there's no way. I don't want my tax dollars going to pay for some idiot who's going to try to do a backflip with a triple gainer over a bull that's charging at him. Ridiculous.
Hey.
He's on his own.
Speaking, remember a couple weeks ago in the provincial high school football championship when the kid got hurt and there was no ambulance and it took 45 minutes for an ambulance to come? At this event, I'm curious if there's an ambulance on site, at least a St. John's ambulance somewhere parked in the corner. Because what are you shaking your head about, Curtis? Have you ever gone to this?
No, I didn't. I've never been to a bullfighting event before.
Have you ever been to a paper, rock, scissors event?
You know what? Yes, I have. There was at one point or another in the office, we had a rock, paper, scissors tournament. I went down to the final. It was really intense, you know. I wish I had some like footage of it right now, you know.
We have okay, so it's Tuesday night at the Brandt Center, one night only. Obviously.
Yeah, because everybody's dead. They can't do 2 nights.
I don't know entertainment dollar wise. If you like danger, if you're a danger guy, if that's what you really like, or girl, I don't know about take the kids to this too. Did you see some of those backflips? Keep going back. Yeah. This is living on the edge, kids. Look at this. This is unbelievable. Like, that takes a different human being to be able to do the jumping right, flip right over a bull. Like you said, back gainer. Like there's kids in the crowd. Tuesday only.
I don't know if that makes it a good idea.
One night only.
Kids there.
7 p.m. Tuesday at the Brandt Center. We have 2 tickets to give away right now. You have to pick them up, though. These are like hard tickets. Old school.
Yeah, you got to pick it up. You got to play paper, rock, scissors for it, actually.
I knew that was coming. 936-6262. Well, we'll take them all day. Tell us why you want to go watch this, what you know about it, and why you want to go. Freestyle bullfighting coming to Agribition Tuesday, 7 p.m., one night only. Giving away 2 tickets. Oh, that is exciting. I can't even imagine the rush. Like, I've always thought riding bulls is borderline crazy. Like that, if we're calling it a sport, if we are putting it in the sport realm, I don't know what the tougher sport is. Hockey, sorry, taking a back seat. Bullfighting. I know there's basketball guy out there that wants to think basketball is really tough. Give me a break. Football guy, bullfighting. Bull riding, I mean.
I think bull riding wouldn't be the toughest just because it's so short. Its propensity to last only seconds.
But you
kind of
could
disqualifies it from its difficulty.
You can lose everything in that 7 seconds. You're like, that's why they're starting to wear cages now, like hockey helmets, because that their face and what was the one, bodacious? No, what was the bull that would like purposely whip its head back to smash guys' skulls? You're putting your headphones on like you know the answer to this, Curtis. I can't see you knowing the answer to this.
I would probably say like all of them.
It's
But by your logic, then skydiving would be a sport because it could end very badly, very quickly if your chute doesn't open.
You know
what is the skill to skydiving? Just jumping out of the plane and pulling that cord. Oof, that's it. Bullfighting, like the balance, the core strength, the everything that would just go along with it. I think that's a sport. Very quick. No, bodacious is that bull. Yeah, he seriously injured bull riding icons Tuff Hedeman and Scott Bredding. Do you know what I'm talking about here?
I'm looking it up too.
I do.
He actually
I do.
broke
I know what you're
Bredding's
talking
face mask too on his helmet. So, so they're trying to be safer, but yeah, it's still a 1 ton, full ton bull, however heavy they are. Like, it's a wild animal.
You know how to be safer? Don't do it.
Text coming in from Jay. Bodacious. Absolutely savage. Drops his head on purpose and smashes dudes.
That's insane.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a female bull rider, to be honest.
Are you telling me in the history of Earth there's never been a female bull rider?
That I don't know.
I would blow my mind if that was the case.
Jeez.
There has to be.
There's some rodeo people out there listening. Chime in. Are we missing something? It's always a male dominant sport. And I was like,
yeah, but there's females that do every other event.
Exactly.
So how would they just not do this?
Bronc riding though? I don't know.
Gotta be. There's gotta be. I would be flabbergasted if that was the case.
I love when what's it called? Mutton busting?
There is a women's professional bull riding league.
Is there?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find numbers.
Let me guess. Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Northern Swing is Montana.
I guess so. I'm in the early stages of research still, but
there's no way they do this in any of the liberal states.
Alberta too, apparently.
You go from no female bull riders to guessing every state that it's in now. Like, what a swing!
Guessing. I like playing games, especially guessing games. I think it's a sport. And we get to talk about it next week because we're at Agribition, allegedly. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It'll be crazy. Here, another one. Jay's coming back. He wrote Bodacious was rode, whatever, 8 times and 135 attempts. The GOAT. There you go, Curtis. You like using that line?
Yeah, I don't think it's a goat, but it's a bull. But yeah,
he is the goat of bulls. He is the goat of bulls. I would argue that it's sports entertainment more than sport.
That's semantics, or that you're saying separate line, separate silo.
Yeah. Why separate knob?
Yeah, it's no roof ball. Come on.
Yes, roof ball is also sports entertainment.
Oh, let's not go down the roof ball rabbit hole again. Brian, rodeo is not a sport that you get paid for and you pay entry fees to win. Well, golf. Pay entry fees in golf, unless you're on the PGA.
Yeah. I mean, it requires an athletic ability to do it, but I don't think it is a sport in the conventional sense of the word and definition that we use for sports. I think it's sports entertainment.
You know why I know this Brian guy that texted in's an absolute beauty? Because 2 texts ago from earlier this month, I think he was messaging in to Ray Allen on the weekends to play Private Malone. What a great country classic that is. 936.
Ray Allen or Rory Allen?
Ray. He works on the weekends here. Good dude. Likes his tunes. Capital Ford Lincoln text line 936-6262. Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. There you go. You want to go to see the professional bull fighting? These are the bull fighters on Tuesday. Is bull riding a sport? Bull riding. I think it is. It's the all-new Sportscage. We are streaming at sportscage.com and as always on 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM on location.
Oh, the hardest sport has got to be tuna fishing in the North Atlantic. You ever watch Wicked Tuna? Now that's a sport. Hey, we got the grand prize leisure package ready to give away this Saturday as part of the Leroy Leisure Lotto. And this is where you have an opportunity to win a brand new truck. You take a look at all that snow outside. Ugh. Maybe it's time for something all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. Well, that's what you get with the leisure package. Your choice of 4x4, either a new Ford, a new Ram, or a new GM. Then a travel trailer. Then your choice of a Sea-Doo or 2 Polaris ATVs. Or if you want none of that, you can take the cash, $130,000. 34 chances to win in the Leroy Leisure Lotto. Comes to an end at 8 p.m. on Friday. Call now, 1-866-925-3769. 1-866-925-3769.
What type of vehicle should you use for a fall hayride?
I bet you're going to be punny.
An automobile?
Ugh. Whatever type of vehicle you drive, fuel up at Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
As a member, fueling up means
sharing in the equity.
Buy a car wash or some snacks from the C-store.
It's like putting money in the bank.
You better believe it.
Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
A very Merry Christmas to you from ADM Fertilizer. May the toys be under the tree, the stockings over the fireplace, and your family by your side. Happy holidays. Joyeux Noël. 431-777-9926.
Saskatchewan Heavy Construction Association wants to thank everyone for helping them get through the construction season and wish everyone a healthy, safe holiday season and 2021.
The Husqvarna Season of Savings deals is on until December 7th at Prairieland Rental. Get deals on select Husqvarna items, including snowblowers with up to $400 off. Shop where the contractors shop, and you know you're dealing with local experts. And at Prairieland, you deal directly with the owner. They appreciate your local business, and they've got everything you need for your projects. They'll even deliver. The Husqvarna Season of Savings deals until December 7th. Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street, prairielandrental.com.
Black Friday week is coming up at Extreme Hockey and Sport. Get 25 to 50% off selected items. Check out the Bauer Fit Lab for your custom skate fitting. And check out the new shooting lane. Feel great on and off the ice. The massive Black Friday hockey sale at Extreme Hockey and Sport for the hockey player on your list. And don't miss the amazing Agribition Yeti sale event at the revamped Pro Shop at the Cooperators. Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street and the Pro Shop, conveniently located at the Cooperators Center.
Worried about your debt but don't know how to deal with it? My name is Jasmine Brown, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Regina. I talk to people about debt every day and I understand how stressful your situation can be. During a free consultation, I can show you how to lower your payments and become debt-free. I can offer you immediate relief from that overwhelming stress. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
At Aero Plumbing and Heating, we like to say we're straight shooters. After all, we've been around since 1958, and you don't last this long if your arrows aren't sharp. You see, we've been Regina's consistent source for helping folks with HVAC, plumbing, and electrical services. Some say we hit the bullseye every time, and that's what we shoot for. So if you want reliable, long-lasting results, call Aero Plumbing and Heating. Visit aeroplumbing.ca.
Straight shooters, we're straight shooters. Aero Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
I knew this was going to happen when we started talking about if bull riding is a sport, anything rodeo. Okay. What we're giving away tickets to is freestyle. You got to follow along here. Follow along. Freestyle bullfighting. That is what we played the video of. That is coming up Tuesday at the Brandt Center, one night only, where these guys go and they jump over bulls and they basically tease them to come and kill them. And you can see the video if you're watching the stream. Now, the rodeo part where bull riding comes in, yes. And then, yes, Dano, bull fighting. A bullfighter is the guy that works with usually another guy. Jason Davidson, remember, Chris, up in Saskatoon, was really good at it. Then he started his own company. I think he still does it, though. The bullfighters, when it comes to the bull riding, those guys are to protect the bull rider when he falls or something happens or gets caught up and all that. And they kind of, I think they also want him to spin. Like they piss him off, so they spin and around. Then there's, as we call him, the rodeo clown. He's just the entertainer guy. He's funny as heck. The guy that does the one next week in Agribition's so funny. Usually some new material, and then he jumps in the bucket, and the bull gets mad and all that. And then that's it, the entertainer. In small rodeos, sometimes when you go, that's combined. You got bullfighter and comedy guy, and he's rolding both positions. So yes, I know what a bullfighter is when it comes to bull riding. Been to a number of small town rodeo bullfight. There's nothing scarier than going to a small town rodeo where the bull riding starts. Columbia Falls, Montana. I've been to one in Shaunavon, Saskatchewan. There's one in Climax once, where they have the gates up and I guess the pen, the rodeo. That there's nothing there stopping one of those things if they want to just go crazy and do damage. And I remember watching, it's like, whew, I can the snot and the anger, and you can feel it. And then I'm like, why am I standing here? He's not this isn't a zoo. He is not there. I am not protected. It is such a rush. That's why I think it's classified as a sport. What do you think? 936-6262. We are going to be at Agribition next week. Stop by, say hi. The rodeo is on. And then when you're texting in, let us know about the sport or no sport, and you'll be entered to win the 2 tickets to the freestyle bullfighting on Tuesday. Coming up tonight, hockey-wise, Western Hockey League, Tri-City is in Regina to take on the Regina Pats. They made it from Swift Current. Good to hear. Tri-City 3-1 win in Swift Current last night. Ryan Swïtzer coming up later in the show to talk about the Swift Current Broncos and their surprising start to the season. Medicine Hats in Paradise to take on the Raiders. The Blades beat Medicine Hat 5-3 last night. Like I said, I was watching that game back and forth. Tons of talent. Lethbridge and Everett. Victoria's taking on Edmonton and Wenatchee Kelowna. SJHL tonight, one game. Kindersley, Notre Dame, they're doing it again. They had so much fun last night. Game 2. Last night, the Hounds won 4-2. AAA loop, I did get word the Pat C's Estevan game is postponed because of the drug. Smart move. Very, very smart move. National Hockey League, we got Eric Francis coming up in hour 2. The only Canadian team skating tonight, Vegas, taking on the Leafs. That'll be an interesting watch. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to ask Harry about probably the greatest thing that we did as kids that we don't do anymore on days like today. It's the all-new Sportscage, streaming at sportscage.com.
620 CKRM on location.
Hi there, it's Cody Glyden broadcasting from the Leroy Leisure Lotto. We're a small town of about 2 hours just north of Regina, off of Highway number 6, kind of between Lanigan and Watson. And it's a town that's got, it's a small town, but they got a big heart. And this lottery helps support things like the library, the curling club, preschool, the skating club, and minor ball. We've been getting a lot of calls from other small towns in Saskatchewan, like from Madeline in Willowbunch. Willowbunch, thank you so much for the support up here in Leroy. We certainly appreciate that. $130,000 is the grand prize. 34 chances to win in all. Lots and lots of money to be handed out on Saturday night starting at 8 o'clock. And you just might get a call. Wouldn't that make your weekend? That you won either $500, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, or $130,000? 1-866-925-3769. 1-866-925-3769.
Well, howdy! Wood Country Woody here. Now, you already know Vic West Metal Cladding's the very best cladding for your outbuildings, but did you know Vic West also makes for superior roofs and fences? Yes, sir. Durable hardware and comes in abundance of great colors and really just takes the whole darn cake. If it needs metal cladding, make it Vic West from Wood Country in McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale.
Your home is your castle.
Shop online, wood-country.com.
The Husqvarna Season of Savings deals is on until December 7th at Prairieland Rental. Get deals on select Husqvarna items, including snowblowers with up to $400 off. Shop where the contractors shop, and you know you're dealing with local experts. And at Prairieland, you deal directly with the owner. They appreciate your local business, and they've got everything you need for your projects. They'll even deliver. The Husqvarna Season of Savings deals until December 7th. Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street, prairielandrental.com.
Hey, it's me, Terry, the Talking Tire. Have I got something for you? Regina Motor Products has got instant rebates on all the top brands when you buy a set of 4 tires. That's a $120 rebate on new Bridgestone Blizzak tires, $90 rebate on new Pirelli Ice Zero Asymmetrico tires, or $70 rebate on all other Pirelli tires, $90 rebate on new Firestone winter tires, $65 rebate on new Michelin tires, and $50 rebate on new BF Goodrich tires. Regina Motor Products has your winter tires. Visit rmpchevrolet.com.
The team of experienced farmland real estate agents at Shepherd Realty in Regina has just listed for sale 13 quarters with a yard site near Gravelburg, 4 quarters of farmland with a yard site near Crane Valley, 3 deeded grainland quarters with 4 quarters crown lease near Scout Lake, and 1 quarter of grainland near Mossbank. To learn more, or if you're considering selling your farm or ranch property, call Shepherd Realty at 352-1866, shepherdrealty.ca.
It's 1984. Crystal and Shane are adjusting their TV antenna so they can watch Dallas when they realize they need to cover their hardwood floors with green carpet. Why? 80s flooring trends were wild, so be thankful it's 2024 and that Flooring Superstore has what you want. From vinyl plank, vinyl tile, hardwood, laminate, and everything in between, their stock is immediately available with professional installation for residential or commercial spaces. Flooring Superstore. Quality floor covering at the best price. FlooringSuperstoreRegina.ca.
Get your equipment out of the rain and snow and under the roof of a new storage building from Olympic Buildings. Have a warm, dry place to work and keep everything out of the cold. Olympic Buildings. Buildings to meet your budget. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
See them rise. It's a Regina Pats game day, and they're bringing their all to the Brandt Center. Get in on the action. Visit reginapats.com or the Brandt Center box office. The Regina Pats. See them rise.
The all-new Sportscage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
All right, maybe not today. Maybe not today because it ended up snowing again, and we got a lot of drifts. When we were kids, listen up here, Curtis. What we got that first day where there was a little bit of rain, and I know it's not great for traveling and it's sketchy and all that. When you get a little rain like that, and then we had that snow and it was windy and it packed it down, perfect roads for 2 things: street hockey, bumper shining. Curtis, see, I look on his face.
What do you mean by bumper shining?
You've never heard that? Never
so
seen
young.
it?
No.
So young. All right. If you were if back in the day, especially if you were on a good bus route, if you were on the number 3 route in Saskatoon, I can tell you 4 good stops to pick up a bus there. You go, if you got kids in the car, shut me off or put earmuffs. You would kind of be waiting. And then you would go onto the back of the bus and you'd grab onto the bumper, like squatting like a bat catcher, grabbing on, and you'd ride that bad boy as far as you could.
I feel like I seen that in movies or something. Never done it personally.
The olden days.
Yeah.
Kind of like Marty McFly skateboarding behind the car in Back to the Future.
We did that too.
Yeah, well, now I kind of want to try.
We were crazy. Where are we? Downtown Regina here. There's like that lady over there in that vehicle that's going to get in. She would have no idea that you're hanging onto the back of her bumper right now.
Are we saying Sportscage snow day right about now?
No. And then I want you to tell me if it's a sport or not. No, you should go. You should go and give it. The only problem with it was if your glove got stuck. Bye glove.
Yeah.
Bye glove.
And the older cars had the great bumpers that were raised and you could grab onto them. It wasn't just a flat square bumper unless you went underneath. You could hook underneath.
Yeah.
But if you had like an old LTD or like an old Oldsmobile Cutlass or something that had a recessed trunk that you could grab onto. And
see? Curtis, you're learning. We'll talk more about this in hour 2. I'll be surprised if Eric Francis knows what the heck we're talking about, because he's from kind of our demo, a little bit older, and then street hockey. Like, were you a sponge puck guy? Were you a tennis ball? The psychos brought out the hard orange ball when it was cold.
No,
it's like
never.
We're playing with that. Let's use a hard puck. No. It's the all new Sports Cage. Shank Harry's the C's. Time for news when we come back. Like I said, we are talking to Eric Francis, streaming at sportscage.com.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. There's blowing snow and it's minus 11 in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Sherwood Co-op. Proud supporter of our community with over 500 donations to local charities and nonprofits annually, and by Mercedes-Benz Regina, for those who can. Mercedes-Benz-Regina.ca. The weather outside was frightful yesterday as Mother Nature let it snow and blow. The Saskatchewan RCMP received 120 reports of weather-related vehicle collisions and incidents between the mornings of yesterday and this morning. Drifting and blowing snow continue to impact visibility and road conditions throughout the province. Officials are advising against unnecessary travel and encouraging drivers to use roads recently plowed, salted, or sanded. Travelers can check road conditions at the Highway Hotline for updated information. The RCMP reminds the public to stay safe and delay travel if weather conditions are poor. Canadian Western Agribition is bringing back the Animal Ag Tech Awards. Last year was the first one, and CEO of Agribition, Sean Kindop, says that they want to continue to recognize innovative businesses for their work in animal agriculture technology.
Last year we had a lot of successes. We had organizations come from over 3 different countries to Agribition to compete in the Animal Ag Tech Awards. This year we've got some people come from Australia and whatnot. And we're excited this year as we're going to be actually handing out a check for $5,000 to each award winner. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's not going to be something you're going to want to miss.
Last year's winners include One Cup AI for Business of the Year, Smart Paddock for Most Innovative, and Farm Simple for Rising Star. The credit union landscape in Saskatchewan could be changing again. Yorkton-based Cornerstone Credit Union, Regina-based Connexus Credit Union, and Lloydminster-based Synergy Credit Union say that they aim to create a stronger province-wide credit union with a potential amalgamation. If approved, the merger would be recommended to the members, who would have the final say. Connexus has 30 locations, Cornerstone has 15 branches, and Synergy encompasses 12 locations. The Prime Minister's office says Randy Boissonneau is leaving his post as Employment Minister to focus on clearing the allegations made against him. The Edmonton MP has resigned from Cabinet over questions about his past claims of Indigenous identity, with the National Post reporting a company he co-owned had applied for government contracts while claiming to be Indigenous-owned. Boissonneau has been described as Indigenous multiple times in Liberal Party communications, but walked back many of these claims since the reports emerged. The U.S. has announced a new security assistance package for Ukraine.
The Biden administration announced Wednesday a new security assistance package for Ukraine, part of a push to get all of the funding that Congress has authorized for Ukraine out the door before the president leaves office in January. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin describing this latest round of security assistance as
worth up to $275 million to meet critical battlefield needs, and that will include munitions for rocket systems and artillery and anti-tank weapons.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
When you shop at Sherwood Co-op, you're contributing to your community
while building equity and putting money back in your pocket.
Others may claim to be local, but Sherwood Co-op is truly local.
Rooted in your community for over 90 years.
They're a proud Saskatchewan company
who continue to support hundreds of community organizations each year.
Like the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit at the Regina General Hospital and the Cancer Foundation of Saskatchewan.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
Put yourself in the driver's seat of the sporty Mercedes-Benz CLA 250, the timeless C300, or the versatile GLC 300 SUV. The choice is yours. Now leasing your new Mercedes-Benz is easier than ever. For $399 bi-weekly plus tax and 0 down, you can step into the luxury you deserve. Your luxury, your choice. Your Mercedes-Benz. Book your test drive today.
And now it's time for your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast for Line-X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street. And brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialists in Grenfell. Servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of minus 14. Tomorrow, partly sunny at times and a high of minus 8. And on Friday, early cloud and then partly sunny with a high of minus 9. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's partly cloudy. Winds are from the northwest at 37, gusting to 48, and it's minus 10. Regina has some blowing snow. Winds are from the northwest at 42, and it's minus 11. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Whether Smokey's after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
Get ready for winter, all winter long, with Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. A new Bryant furnace can keep your whole home warm. And right now, you can finance your Bryant furnace with Bronco for a special rate of 4.99%. And don't start paying for 6 months. Plus, don't forget about available rebates on qualifying furnaces. Be ready for winter with Bryant at Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. BroncoPlumbing.com. Bronco and Bryant. Whatever it takes.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Regina Motor Products, proudly serving Saskatchewan for over 70 years. Visit rmpchevrolet.com today. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Hour 2 of the show for Regina Motor Products. Barney Schinker, Chris Harris, CNC Production Company. We just like rodeo, one thing, bullfighting, another thing. And then just before the break, we got into bumper shining and street hockey with the weather that we've had here. And Curtis had no idea what bumper shining was. Did you look anything up over news? Did you research it?
Well, I was even just chatting with Harry. It might just be a Sasky thing, to be honest. Like he was looking at the Urban Dictionary definition of it. I'm actually from Alberta. I was from Calgary, born and raised. So I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah, well, we are going to, we'll get to the bottom of it. I don't know if he'll know anything about, I don't think he's originally from Calgary, though. Is he? It's for Southie Mainline Chrysler, new king of trucks in Southie Saskatchewan. Worth the drive every time.
It's time to talk hockey on the all-new Sports Cage with NHL analyst Eric Francis. Brought to you by Southie Mainline, the Mainline Automotive Group's newest king of trucks. Southie Mainline, just 30 minutes north of Regina. Worth the drive every time. Guaranteed.
Yeah, up to $20,000 off MSRP on the Ram 1500. That's worth the drive. Okay, you're not born and raised in Calgary. You live there now. Eric Francis, have you ever heard of bumper shining?
Well, I've been here 30 years, so I'm a Calgarian by any definition. So, but I've never even heard of bumper shining. Now, I'm guessing it's, I learned from a guy who married a gal from Saskatchewan about bunny hogs and what Vico or whatever,
Vico.
But yeah, that's the extent of it. The bumper shine. I would love to know about this. Tell me about this.
Okay, so what it was, and Chris and I remember doing it vividly behind a bus because we knew the bus routes and all that. Unsuspecting cars, it would work too. Again, I'm not promoting this necessarily. I'm just saying the streets right now. Look for it. You would go in behind, you'd wait with your buddies, and the bus wouldn't see it, and you'd grab onto the bumper, and then you'd ride it as long as you could, because the streets right now are perfect for street hockey and bumper shining. The worst part, though, and once it happened to me, Mom bought me brand new gloves from Quinn the Eskimo. Fantastic glove. And one of them got stuck in the number 3 bus as it was going towards Avenue P or Avenue H, and that was it for the gloves. Does that make sense, though? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've called that bumper hitching, but whatever, same sort of thing. I thought for sure, I thought you would have that bumper shining sounds like. Well, you just ran into another car, kind of maybe put a little scrape on it or cleaned it off a little bit, and then you just kept driving.
But just because we've had the snow, you guys had the snow before us in Calgary, and then we've had it, and it's been that windy, packed down. Like this street in front of the studio right here, it is perfect for street hockey. And then I got to thinking, kids don't play it anymore. Like, my kid has no idea the struggle of trying to find 2 hockey nets on a Tuesday.
Oh, my God. I guess in the suburbs, my buddy says they still play street hockey, but, that was my life. Until I was, 15 or 16, it wasn't just the only question after school ended was, whose house are we playing at, and what game are we playing? There were different games, 2-on-2, 3-on-3. Was it hog? We had all these different games, but I think it's sad, and I think it's part of the reason why we don't. I don't know. I'm not going to get into a big whole thing, but it makes you a better. Well, it makes you a better player. It makes you a better stick handler. It makes you a better heads-up player. And same with pond hockey. The kids don't play pond hockey like they used to when we were kids. Anyway, I don't want to sound like an old guy, but these are facts. People don't do these things as much as we did. And, man, it taught you a lot about keeping your head up and just being a good hockey player and a good teammate, too. You had to pass. You had to learn how to shield the puck. There were things that teams right now, my kid plays community hockey, they don't know any of these things.
It also makes you more social. It forces you. It's forced socialization. The only thing I see now is a kid at one house with one net, and he's got either a piece of plexiglass or something, or fiberglass on the driveway that he's just practicing a shot on, hitting an empty net. That's it. One solitary kid shooting at a net. No kids playing, no group of kids playing. Definitely not 2 nets, and definitely not in the street.
No, and it's ODR, right? And I made it in the backyard for a few years. It was great. I had so much fun. All that. It's so much work. Now it's can you take us to the ODR? And then it's okay, so-and-so has got to be there. This guy's got to be there. And the shack's got to be open for the most part. Tie your skates outside. And then the street hockey thing, you said, it made you, if you could stick handle with a tennis ball, it wasn't at Wayne Gretzky, or somebody said it was Wayne Gretzky anyway, maybe Michael Scott, who said it just makes you a better stick handler. But because when a street's like this today, you always, if you wanted the kid home that had the other net, please say you're home. Your mom's not taking you to Zellers or wherever. We need you there with the other net. Can we use your net? If you're not there, no, you can't. Come on. Then you got to use the 2 stumps or boots. That's Bush League. And then it was does anyone have the good black sponge puck? That was always the best. Or you go tennis ball. Secondary, like I said to Harry before the break, there would always be the game that you'd get looped up to where they were just psychotic and they used the orange frozen ball. No one wants to play with that orange frozen ball. Eric he was so bored with this topic. He just clicked.
I'm out of here.
But remember, Harry, that trying to find 2 nets?
Yeah. You always wanted 2 nets. Not having 2 nets just kind of like you said, it was awful using boots and just felt like an also-ran game. And the orange ball, I can honestly say I never, ever played with the orange ball. And the sponge puck had to be the sponge, not the nylon one, because the sponge one was good, and then they came out with that nylon black one that wasn't as good.
I loved the nylon if you weren't in goal, because you could whip that thing around, and it had it had some weight to it. You could really snap it around, as the kids say.
But the best thing, and kids don't do this because, like you said, it's generally just them shooting against targets in their own. And by the way, those flipping tiles are expensive. You know that you gotta have about 18 of those tiles for the kid to be able to launch his shots in the garage. That's what my kid's doing. But the goalie equipment, like, to me, some kids will grow up never knowing what it is to flash some leather and make a huge, as we would always say, Mike Palmetier. And again, I'm dating myself, but like you'd pull the big windmill, like that. There is in my life has been dominated by sports, either covering it, playing it every single day. I still play. I played this morning, but I'm not sure there's ever been a more satisfying thing in my sporting life than playing road hockey in net and going on a bit of a heater where you're making all sorts of saves and you feel like you're really in the zone. And like you think you're Palmetier, you're doing the 2-pad stack. And it's just the most amazing thing. Kids will never experience that moving forward. It's too bad.
No, and it was like all of a sudden, if you had white Sorels boots, those turned into the greatest goalie pads in the history of the world, and you were in there to shut the door. But then you also had buddy kid that would show up in the goalie gear, and then the other guy at the other net's just this like little stick figure. And it's like, well, I hope, whose team do you want to be on in this? But yeah, okay, that was, that's it. That's the segment today. Street hockey and bumper shining. See you later.
See you, boys.
Where do we want to start? You wanted to talk, about Calder already?
Well, yeah, okay, it's early. That's the first reaction. I get it. But it's kind of fun that people in Calgary are already talking about Dustin Wolf. Should he be in the Calder conversation? And I love that Dustin Wolf himself said, it's November, everybody, slow down. But, we're almost at the quarter way through the season, Mark. And it's, you're starting to see the handful of guys that would be in that conversation. Again, things can change. But I think that generally speaking, you're going to be looking at Matvei Michkov. To me, he's the favorite to be, in this Calder Trophy discussion. Everything he does south of the border gets a headline. He's a sexy kind of the Russian guy, the mysterious Russian. Everybody wants to know about him. Logan Stankoven's had a great start already. He's almost a point a game. Macklin Celebrini's only played 8 games, but he's got 5 points, 4 goals. Like Lane Hudson's lighted it up in Montreal. Even Siplikov, we watched this Maxim Siplikov last night for the Islanders, and I'll tell you, he's a talent. But Dustin Wolf, like he's 7-2-1 on a team that's gone 16 games in a row without scoring more than 3 goals. Like that's incredible. I looked it up last night. He's 3rd in the league in save percentage and 5th in the league in goals against average amongst starters. Like, again, it's early. Nobody's expecting to maintain this sort of pace or these numbers moving forward. But people want to talk about this sort of stuff. Talk radio. Like, guys, we're always looking for things to talk about. In Calgary, it's a topic right now. And so there's kind of your guys that you're going to be watching for the next 4 or 5 months, to me, for the Calder.
Those guys have boring talk radio shows if they ain't talking bumper shining and street hockey and Stratomatic hockey and things like that. Like, you got to be creative in this day and age, Eric, don't you?
Right.
Yeah.
Blockbuster, baby. You got to talk about it.
Comes out of a holster.
Yeah. Okay. So
right out of my wallet.
I watched the shootout last night, Flames and the Islanders. I should have sent the video to you, Curtis. Was it Kuzmenko? Who scored the backhand winner or the backhand goal for the Flames?
Yeah, Kuzmenko. Pretty sick mitts he's got.
Speaking of street hockey goals, right? Like, that's the kind of stuff. Did you see it, Harry?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it.
He's right. He's a right-handed shot, so that would be opposite of me. He came in on the goalie. You play goal too. Harry plays every position. So it's crazy. He came in. He showed backhand, and you know how guys kind of come back sometimes, or they double it. He did the old show backhand and then just roofed it, and the goalie was like, "Ooh, boom!" It was Like to do it at that
In tight,
level.
too.
Yeah, and then Wolf shut the door for the shootout win. That was a big one. I guess, shootout, Flames, all that. What about outdoor jerseys? Have you guys seen outdoor game jerseys? Have you guys seen them?
Yep.
Thoughts?
I like St. Louis's.
Yeah.
I like St. Louis's. Chicago isn't really much of a deviation from what they've done in years past, but St. Louis's is different. I like it. I like white. I like the white.
I like the cream that they kind of go with a lot, with a lot of these outdoor jerseys. And I've always thought these outdoor jerseys, they're fun. Like, it's funny. I went to an outdoor game in Nashville a couple years ago, and like, who knows? Even outside of those two cities, Chicago and St. Louis. Like, be honest, you guys. When you saw a story come across the line today about the new jerseys, you're like, oh, that's the first I knew those two teams were playing in an outdoor game, right? Like, let's be honest. Like, and like, a couple things. First of all, I have a Chicago jersey with Taves on it from, I think, the original Winter Classic. As a guy who's married and has kids, you get one jersey framed in your house. I don't know what your over and unders are in your houses, and I don't know if it's different in Saski, but in my house, you get one framed jersey, and that's the one. Like, I've got some incredible jerseys, some Gretzky, Messier, Lemieux, everything. But that's the one, to me, that's the sexiest jersey that I own in terms of design, and this one's not much different. But the other thing I just want to say about outdoor games, sorry, I'm going on, but, people kind of crap on them and go, why are you doing it? The shtick's over. It's not about any market other than the two that are involved. And I get it. It's also for NBC or whoever's broadcasting it down south of the border. It's a good January 1st, staple now. But it's not supposed to be for the masses. I mean, it's a celebration in the city that's hosting it. And I've been to a bunch of them all over, and it's no different than the Grey Cup. If your team's not in the Grey Cup, you may not give a crap, but in that city, it's a big, big deal. And same with the outdoor game. So it's a necessary evil. It's a big corporate thing, and I got no problem with it. Other people crap all over it. I got no problem with it.
I thought you were going to talk about your jerseys, and you got that one from Keith Tkachuk, because last week you were saying like Keith Tkachuk jerseys and all that. Secondly,
no,
I thought when they hosted the Heritage Classic in Regina, and mind you, it was a perfect night. The snow started coming down. Yeah. I like the outdoor games when they have them somewhere that's not an NHL market. And which leads me to, I think they need to do an outdoor game. It might be more difficult now because the team's not there, at Sun Devil Stadium in Arizona. Ooh. in November or December, because it gets cold at night, right? We've all known you want that, and you want that tea time to be about noonish in those months in Arizona. But it gets chillier at night, that they could pull it off. I think that would be a fantastic venue. It's kind of built into the stadium. It's redone though. You got the planes landing like crazy in the background. Didn't they do one at a naval base? Didn't they do it at a naval base? Did they do one in Annapolis?
Yeah. Was it Annapolis? Yeah, I think in Maryland. No. Yeah, I can't remember. I've seen them where there's they had a bunch of the military there, enjoying it. But that Sun Devil Stadium, especially the way it's kind of built into the side of those rocks, it's an iconic setting. As long as the money wouldn't go to the previous owner of the Coyotes, I think the NHL would consider it. He's dead to them, and vice versa. So I think that if the NHL felt like they could make some money off it, but also kind of almost thank those people who did support that organization through some really crappy years, I like the idea. I really do.
Well, like, Harry, what do you think? Like, having it in some, I like the Lake Tahoe. The ice ended up being crap because the sun came out and all that. Things like that. Have one in Whitefish.
I mean, your idea or your choice of venues is limitless if you're going to a neutral site. I mean, there are iconic places all over Canada and the states that could host a game if you're not worried about having a team in that market. Your
like
possibilities
Placid,
are endless.
Guys.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one in Lake Placid amazing during COVID? Like, right on the lake there. And there was talk for a time that they were going to try to do one at Lake Louise here, just outside Calgary. And, the problem is it's a national park, and mobilizing all those people to get in and out of the park and parking and, of course, the environmentalists and all this crap. It would have just been a joke. But the point is, like, I'm not sure there's a more iconic setting in our country than that view from Chateau Lake Louise at those two mountains. If the league were able to find out a way to do that, we just need another pandemic, guys, and then we can pull it off. No problem.
Anchorage has had them for college hockey and junior hockey up there. That would be an unreal venue. Harry, you wanted to go at the injury front.
Yeah, I guess a couple things. It's not really an injury, and we kind of touched on how kids are different nowadays. If this JT Miller leaving Vancouver for personal reasons for an indefinite amount of time doesn't signal that this is a different NHL than it was 20 years ago, I don't know what does. Now, obviously, are we going to see this happen more and more? Is it a good thing? I mean, obviously it's a good thing because there's a reason behind it. But where does the NHL go from here? It's a slippery slope, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I love that we're in a spot where a guy can have the courage, whatever you want to use the word, but to just stand up and say, I can't do this right now. And because who knows how many hundreds of guys have gone through, or thousands of pro athletes have played through things where really it was just so debilitating that they just couldn't perform anywhere near their level that they're used to. So, good on them. I don't know the details. Everybody in the hockey world starts trying to reach out and find out, and I don't care to do that. I just wish them well. And I'm glad that it's there for these guys. And listen, it is, I don't want to use the word inviting, but it is nice that they have this option. They're getting paid and they're getting fixed. And boy, is there a better combination if you're really struggling with something. So good on them. And I agree with you. It is a much different time where guys aren't scared. I'm sure there are still guys that are, but when you're a JT Miller and your future is already secure with the money you've made and the money you're going to make, and the fact that you're one of the better players in the world, you might as well nip this in the bud, hopefully soon, and get on with the rest of your career.
Yeah, for sure. And then the second thing is Ovi. Kind of one of the topics of conversation is this is a huge thing for a guy who is one of the hottest players in the NHL right now, because all anybody wants to talk about is the record. They're saying day to day, and he's not a guy who misses a lot of time. Now, does he come back too quickly? Does he? I mean, he's definitely a guy who wants to get back.
Yeah, I've seen week to week now. I mean, I think they're making it a little broader, but either way, not good, because he is one of the best stories in the NHL season this year. I think a lot of us thought he was probably just going to limp into this record, which is not the way you want to see a guy do it. But the fact that he was actually leading the league right now with 15 goals, oldest guy ever to be leading the league at 15 goals. I looked, there's a stat out there. Frank Mahovlich was the last guy ever to be the first to 15 goals, like the oldest guy ever to get to 50. He was 33. Man, that's 6 more years, and it's pretty impressive. So I hope it's not that serious, because I would like to see him get it done this year. Otherwise, it'll be game 12 next season or something. It takes a little bit away from it, but that's not his fault. You know what amazing thing is about him? And this is part of how you can
I know exactly what you're going to say.
36 games he's missed in his entire career, or 35 games, whatever, 35 games. The most he's ever missed was 6 in a row because he got into a fight. He got hurt into a fight. That's awesome. When the all-time leading goal scorer, the longest he's ever missed, was because of a fight he got in, I say good on you, man. That's pretty awesome.
I tried to look it up because I read that in the story as well, that he'd only missed a handful of games in a season as the longest stretch. I tried to find out what the highest playing percentage was, and there's nobody that keeps that kind of stat, like for games played versus games missed. Like he's got to be up there. 20 years and only missing less than 50 games is amazing.
Impressive. It's our segment with Eric Francis here on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. It is for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southie. Going back to the, where the league is, and guys, they can go and get help and they can leave and different things. We saw it in the Western Hockey League with the Vaughan twins leaving Regina, right? Their advisors and all that. It's just different time. The other thing that's different is Austin Matthews goes to Germany with this injury to get looked at. Like, that would think 30 years ago, your Mike Palmateer days, like that was never an option. Like, it's crazy that a guy has to do that and now just can.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are worth so much money and they're so important and they generate so much revenue that throwing a guy on a private jet to go over to Germany it's worth it if that's what you think will get him the best treatment, the best diagnosis, whatever the case may be. My guess is, didn't he play in Germany?
Wasn't it Swiss?
Was it Swiss? Okay.
When he was like 16 or whatever, Swiss or Sweden?
Yeah. Yeah, he played overseas anyway, and I don't know if that's where he got this connection to this doctor/treatment center, but either way, we don't know a whole lot of details, and that's the way injuries go these days. But we do know that he climbed on a jet and went to Germany. And yeah, that's different. But again, you talk about how the NHL's forever changed. I feel like moving forward, you're going to have that too. Look, remember Jack Eichel's situation, right? The team wanted him to do one thing. Him and his advisors wanted him to do another thing. That falls under the same category, Barney, as agents are calling the shot, or more to the point, players are calling their own shots with the help of their agents. And if that's, my guess is it was Austin Matthews' idea to go to Germany and not just to have a little bit of fun.
And then when you think about it,
is over.
Yeah. when you think about it, though, it's like you think of where the NFL is, which is the biggest thing in the world, and you got Johns Hopkins, you got the Mayo Clinic, you got he's got to go to Germany to get this looked at. Like, that's the thing that baffles me. Obviously, no doctor, wasn't even close, but like, why Germany? I'd love to know the story behind it. It's almost like a Netflix series waiting to happen. Like, what's the deal there? Yeah, I don't know. Anything else? Sorry, Harry, you wanted to go?
No, the Matthews thing was.
By the way, you said the NFL is the biggest thing ever. Bumper shining is the biggest thing ever. That's my takeaway. From today's chat.
Yeah. Well, when you do those boring radio shows for the rest of the week, you start it with bumper shining and then really get the conversation go. The other thing we have going today, because have you ever seen professional freestyle bullfighting? Eric, have you ever seen Curtis, can you play it? Professional freestyle bullfight. By the look on your face on that stream, you have never seen this. It's coming to Regina on Tuesday. Watch this. This is legit. These guys are just out there basically teasing bulls, and then watch the somersault here. Woo. This is.
Oh,
I know. Isn't that wild,
dude? This would sell in Calgary. Like people, we get tens of thousands of people going every day to the rodeo here, and
how close
you combine, and the bulls are the sexiest thing about the rodeo, But you throw. Oh, I like that, man. That is.
How close are you with the guys at Cowboys? Maybe we can kind of set up our own little company here and bring it in Stampede Week, a small intimate affair.
I've seen a whole lot of different freestyling going on at Cowboys, but it didn't involve bulls, and I'm going to leave it at that. That's all I'm going to say. That place is legendary for a reason.
Did you want to go on the heels of that?
I don't know how I follow that. Seems silly to go back to a question now.
Yeah, it does. Okay, let's end it, because I even have one more, but we got to end it at that. Eric Francis, have a good rest of the week and weekend. We'll catch up with you Monday.
Yeah, see you, boys. Have a great weekend.
It's the segment that just keeps on giving. Every time there's something weird, my gut hurts, my side hurts. It's brought to you by Southie Mainline Chrysler, new king of trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan, worth the drive every time. Up to $20,000 off MSRP right now on the Ram 1500, Ram Dodge Durango, Jeep Grand Cherokee, and 2023s have up to $13,000 off. That's Southie Mainline Chrysler in Southie. Oh, by the way, speaking of my sides, hurting from laughing so much, back sore from shoveling this morning. Did 2 shovels and had to push a guy out, help push a guy out, got home, started working. All of a sudden I'm like, why am I so sore? Like, yeah, because Hurt your back shoveling, dummy. Not as young as we used to. There's always the thing, and this isn't even joking matter. There's always the thing when we get to our age that heart attacks happen, and guys are like, yeah, I was just out shoveling snow, and then I went inside and I sat down, didn't feel well, and then it's like, yeah, so you got to take care of yourself. Okay, when we get back, we're going to talk Western Hockey League. We're going to talk what the heck is going on in Swift Current with the Broncos. It is the all-new Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090. See them rise.
Partial breakaway, right side stops, waits, he scores!
Then it's Dunlop Ford. Regina Pats hockey is back on your official voice for the Pats. 620 CKRM.
Tune in to Puck Drop tonight at 7 when the Tri-City Americans take on your Pats at the Brent Center.
Game day tickets are available now from the Pats box office. Don't miss a minute of the action. Listen on air or online at 620CKRM.com. Regina Pats hockey. See them rise.
620 CKRM on location.
Good afternoon. Once again, Cody Glyden here with the Leroy Leisure Lotto. It comes to an end 8 p.m. on Friday. Typically, this lottery has sold out in the past. We've had a pretty good day here today, although we do have some phone lines open for you. Now, tickets are $100 each, 3 for $250. 50 tickets available with your purchase of a regular ticket, $20 each, 3 for $50. Last year's take-home jackpot was just over $48,000. With that $100 ticket, you get into the draw for all 34. That includes 10 draws of $500, 20 draws of $1,000, a draw for $5,000, a draw for that 7-person hot tub or 10 grand, and then that grand prize, the leisure package, or $130,000. 1-866-YEAH-LEROY, 1-866-925-3769.
The Dark Hall Presents series is proud to present J.J. Voss and Friends Saturday, November 23rd, featuring Megan Kelly and special guest Dean Cush of Faster Gun. Don't miss J.J. Voss.
And all I know is I want to go home. All I know is I want to go home.
Tickets at the Dark Hall box office and at darkhall.ca. SCMA legend and legacy award-winning Faster Guns Dean Cush.
Yeah, you're back again.
SCMA multi-award winner J.J. Voss.
I'm playing for keeps. I'm looking for you.
J.J. Voss, Saturday, November 23rd at Dark Hall in Regina, featuring Megan Kelly and special guest Dean Cush, part of the Dark Hall Presents series.
I'm playing for keeps.
Okay, roll camera. And action.
I want to suck your blood.
Cut! No. That wasn't real enough.
What else do you want from me?
You were fine. It was you. Your scream just wasn't believable.
Well, give me some motivation.
You can no longer go to Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, or get SaskTel wireless internet. Perfect. Roll camera.
Contact Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Moosomin today.
Hey, how are we getting home tonight? Oh, we've got options. Cool. What options?
We can hire a ride. Or call my sister.
Yeah.
We can catch a ride with the band.
Okay.
Designated driver.
Uh-huh.
Grab a bus.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Lots of options.
The only option is to find a safe ride. How you do it is up to you. From everyone at SGI, take care out there.
The straw that broke the camel's back? What does that even mean? Do camels even use straws? Are we talking paper or plastic? If you think this Saskatchewan winter might be the straw that breaks the camel's back, at least your local Cooper tire dealer carries Cooper Discoverer True North winter tires. Cooper Discoverer True North winter tires provide exceptional grip and traction in the snow and ice. See your local Cooper tire dealer for Cooper Discoverer True North winter tires and give that poor camel a break.
all-new Sportscage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
Well, welcome back. Barney Shankaruk and Chris Harris and the Seas are with you today around the area hockey-wise tonight. Tri-City is in town to take on the Regina Pats. Medicine Hats in Prince Albert to take on the Raiders. Hat coming off a 5-3 loss to Saskatoon last night. Lethbridge, Everett. SJHL, Kindersley, Notre Dame. Doing it again. They played last night. It was the Hounds winning 4-2. Surprising win there. A little upset action. So they're going at 7 o'clock in Wilcox. Pat Seas Estevan game postponed due to the weather. Western Pizza, perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, plus all the Greek food you love, like souvlaki, ribs, and salad. Let's go out on that Western Pizza guest hotline and talk to our friend. It's our first time this year in the hockey season, Ryan Swïtzer from Swift Current, the Broncos. Swïtzer, what is going on there? Like, again, I don't know it down to a T, but when I see things, they kind of sold. They were buyers last year to try and make a run, lose to Moose Jaw. This year, the Broncos are right there. Are they overachieving a bit?
I don't think so, Barney. I think it's a good question that a lot of people are asking. But, a lot of teams, when they go all in, they really load up on that 19-year-old group. And Swift last year, they were buyers. They went and they paid a big price to get Connor Geekie, and they grabbed a 20-year-old defenseman, Tyson Galloway, out of Calgary. But they had a solid crop of 18-year-olds last year as well. Ryland Gould, Brady Burney, Grayson Brzezinski, Luke Misselbacher is another guy. And I think people around the Broncos knew that this year wasn't going to be a rebuilding year after a big buy. And I've been saying it since springtime. I like Swift for potentially an East Division banner. We're still a long way away from that, but I wouldn't count them out. They got some horses.
Are they deep enough? Like the way, right? I know it's November right now. Are they deep enough? Because you've seen it. You need 3 powerful, if not 4 powerful lines. You need the 5 big D-men. You need someone that can maybe steal you a game here and there. As they stand right now, do your eyeballs say they're deep enough, or would they have to add?
Well, here's where I'm at. I say East Division banner. I'm not saying East Conference Championship. And I think with the team that they have now, because you look at the competitive matrix within that East Division, you have Moose Jaw, all in last year to win a championship. You have Saskatoon, all in last year to win a championship. Prince Albert Raiders, they're going to be good in 2-3 years. They're going to be a force in a few years' time. But as of right now, they're figuring things out. Brandon, they're going to be a tough out. They got Carson Bjarnason in goal, who can steal you a game, and Roger McQueen up front, who's an absolute stud. So I think the Broncos, with what they have now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because I'm not really sure where they go from here. Do they make that move and maybe try and get into the playoffs, or do they maybe make some phone calls with Ryland Gould and Brady Burney and try and recoup some of those draft picks that they bought Connor Geekie with? It's going to be interesting to see what happens in Swift. But if they don't do anything, if they stand pat at the trade deadline, I think their chances of an East Division banner aren't that bad.
I like the fact too, and you can correct me and you can enlighten us here on this. Like Burney, and you got Rondeau for sure. Like you got local talent, right? Is there any other kids from the Southwest there?
Yeah, well, we got there's a few in the system. Parker Rondeau, Swift Current kid, product of the Swift Current minor hockey system, who just scored his first Western Hockey League goal last week. So that was a feel-good moment for everyone in town. There's a goalie in the Broncos system, Bernie Weston. Very athletic goalie out of Gull Lake. I know that you have nothing but fond memories of Gull Lake, Saskatchewan from your time at the mighty CJSN and Shaunavon, Barney. But Mason Fauser, he's a kid who's playing 18U AAA in Swift Current, who's part of the Broncos system as well. Chad Leslie, he's the Broncos general manager, and he's done a good job of shopping local, so to speak. And, in the past, There's been guys in charge of your hockey ops that have maybe shied away from that, but Chad really seems to be embracing, going after these Southwest Saskatchewan kids and calling their name on draft day.
What's the balance between whether they do decide to maybe add a few pieces and make a run, or be like, you know what, next year or the year after is kind of where we're going to make some gravy, so let's just stand pat, ride with what we got, and worry about kind of the next year or two? Where's that balance?
That's a great question, and if you can get Chad Leslie on the show, if you can pin him down and ask him that one, he'd know the answer to that one for sure. But he's one of the best hockey scouts out there, and he spends a ton of time on the road just going and finding these diamonds in the rough, which is a talent of his. But that would be a question for him. I mean, I looking at what the team has for draft picks. There's that old adage of you either have to be a buyer or a seller at the trade deadline. And I'm not really sure that Swift is going to be either this year. Maybe they make a move either to deepen their pockets when it comes to draft picks, or maybe they make a move in hopes of maybe getting a playoff series win. But when you look at the teams in the East who are probably going to make a big splash at the trade deadline, I'm not sure Swift is going to be one of them this year. Having said that, it could be completely wrong and they could nuke this thing and stock the cupboards. I don't know.
Yeah, Misselbacher's the leading point getter right now for the Broncos, but then Brady Burney, local boy, right? Like he's now he's on his way to the NCAA post WHL career. Like I haven't had a chance to watch him play live. Looking forward to watching the Broncos when they're here. What makes this guy tick, Ryan?
It's part of my thing is hosting a Swift Current Bronco podcast. And when you interview these kids, you always throw out the question when you're getting to know them, what NHL player do you compare yourself to? And the little guys love Patrick Kane. And Brady's one of these guys that, he lives up to that comparison at this level. He's got a very high hockey IQ. He finds himself in the right spot. He's a talented young man as well. He's a product of the Regina minor hockey system. He put up insane numbers in Bantam. And he's been good in the past. He's maybe lacked a little consistency in his game, but he's really starting to find his stride in the Western Hockey League. And he's just a good, creative, shifty player who just always, finds a way to get himself open and put up points.
When we talk about Swift too, right? It's got a special place in like I said the other day, my cold heart. But I loved that place. Loved working there. Loved when it's exciting, when the Broncos are buzzing. It is awesome. Where's the franchise? After last year, I think they make a little bit of money last year, and then where do things stand? It's as the smallest market in the league, and I think in the country.
Yeah, and we're a community-owned team, so it's you want to break even every year at least, right? And last year I think it was around $150,000 season, 135, 150 somewhere in there. So they were profitable last year. They got that first round series playoff win. They only got 4 home playoff games. A few more would have been nice, but things have been well. Typically in Southwest Saskatchewan, you're fighting with the harvest a little bit early in the season, right? Because we're such an ag-based economy here. And your crowds typically don't really pick up until January. But I heard at the game last night, they were bragging that every game has been 2,000 plus. And I know a lot of other markets will laugh at that number and be like, oh my gosh. But when you think that they're only in a 2,800 seat rink, they sell out a high percentage of that rink. And I think after some rough years coming out of COVID and some rough years after going all in to win that championship, the finances are looking a little bit better. There were some heavy loss years that they still got to make up for, though.
Last thing for me. So when you're watching, you watch a lot of hockey. I have the play-by-play guys on too. I always ask them, like, around the league, like what give me a couple guys that you have to watch when they come into town that you're blown away by.
Well, I know that the Tri-City is rolling into Regina tonight, and they were in Swift last night, and they humbled the Broncos a little bit. They just came in and they played a great road game. They're a big team. They're a physical team. Swift and Tri-City, I think they have the best last 10 records in the league. So Regina fans are going to get a chance to see a Tri-City American squad that they have some studs on that team, but they play a good, complete game. They're well-disciplined, a good team. But the crew I was really, really impressed with, and unfortunately in this neck of the woods, we're not going to see him for a while again, is the Everett Silvertips. Swift Current got him as like the 6th game on a 6-game road swing, and they looked fresh as a daisy. Landon DuPont, this kid is as advertised, not the electrifying exceptional status that Bedard was, but just a stable presence on the back end, wise beyond his years. So they're really good. And, I would encourage people in this conference and in this neck of the woods, go see the Saskatoon Blades while you can. You know, Tanner Molendyk, probably the best defenseman in the league right now, and you have to think that Saskatoon might be starting that fire sale soon to restock the cupboards. And Tanner Molendyk in Saskatoon, Braden Yeager and Moose Jaw, I have a feeling that they're not going to be ending the season with the teams they're on now.
Yeah.
So go see those guys while you can.
Swïtzer, always a pleasure. Let's regroup here in a few weeks and have you back. And I got to get to a game there this year. I know I say it all the time, but I gotta get into that Swift Current barn once again.
We'll roll up the red carpet for you, man. It'll be great to have you back in Swifty, and we'll go reminisce at the Acropole Lounge when it's all said and done, brother.
Yeah, I'll get slapped as soon as I walked in. Thanks, Swïtzer. Always a pleasure. Ryan Swïtzer from Swift Current joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Quick break here. Watching that stream, you see it, sportscage.com, and as always on the home of the Regina Pats, 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM on location.
It's Cody Glyden back here in Leroy for the Leroy Leisure Lotto. And I know a lot of you are sports nuts, obviously, if you are listening to the Sports Cage. And, well, you know, if you've got kids in hockey, if you've got kids really in any sport, you're going to be doing a lot of traveling in the wintertime. Maybe you're looking at that vehicle going, I don't know if she's going to last another winter. Or, you know, it's pretty expensive to take kids to the hockey tournament by the time you factor in food and hotel rooms and all that type of stuff. You know the kids are having a great time, but it can be kind of stressful on the finances. Well, maybe that's what the Leroy Leisure Lotto can do for you. $130,000 in cash is the grand prize. 34 chances to win. Lots of money going to be given out on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock, and hopefully some of that money is going to you. But it won't go to you if you don't buy a ticket. $100 each, 3 for $250. 1-866-925-3769. 1-866-925-3769.
Water heater and water softener rentals are now available at Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Instead of paying big money up front, you can rent a water heater and water softener directly from Bronco without the worry or hassle. They have a long history of renting water heaters and water softeners, and they're maintenance-free. Bronco comes and does all that for you. Saskatchewan's best water heater rentals are from Bronco. Call 306-781-2090. Professional, courteous service. BroncoPlumbing.com.
This November from the 25th to the 30th, the excitement is back. Agribition returns for the 53rd year, packed with more adrenaline than ever before. 1 night of freestyle bullfighting, 4 nights of professional rodeo, and 6 days of an extensive agri-trade show. Something for everyone. The evening cabarets aren't going anywhere. The famous Party on the Dirt will be on Friday, November 29th and Saturday, November 30th. But make sure you get your tickets because this is a sellout event. Tickets on sale at agribition.com/tickets.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Some will try to tell you 8 inches is enough. Others will say 10 inches will do. But when you want a lot of pizza, you gotta hanker down with the delicious 13-inch pepperoni from Western Pizza. Why mess with a good thing? You know what you want. 13 inches of pepperoni pizza perfection from Western Pizza. Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or take out. Order today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
0% financing or instant discount. The decision is yours to make at Future Ford in Melville. Right now, you can get into a brand new 2024 Ford F-150 and get 0% financing up to 72 months or get $8,000 off the price. Plus, as a bonus from Future Ford, they're throwing in free oil changes. If a new truck doesn't fit your lifestyle or needs, no problem. Get 0% financing for up to 60 months on select Escape, Bronco Sport, Mustang Mach-E, and more. Check out their website, futureford.ca, and see their great selection today. The future is Future Ford in Melville.
Sorry to scare you in the shower. Mother sent me to tell you that Future Vision is having a big 2-for-1 sale, with international styles arriving daily.
Future Vision.
Where'd you get those? Where'd you get those? Where'd you get those eyes? Oh, And Future Vision is a proud recipient of the Consumer's Choice Award 2023.
When planning a mini winter getaway, take a step back in time with the historic Grant Hall Hotel in Moose Jaw. Built in the 1920s, this luxurious hotel features classic designs, 58 styles of rooms, the most elegant meeting rooms, and a banquet hall. Spend the day exploring, then enjoy an extravagant, relaxing dining experience at the Grant Hall Dining Room and Burrowing Owl Lounge. They have gift cards too, perfect for stocking stuffers. The Grant Hall Hotel Moose Jaw, your vacation destination in a notorious little city with an amazing history.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Big news in the CFL today. If you missed it, we did have Farhan Lalji on earlier. We're going to run that again at about 5:45 time. It was Rick Campbell getting dusted in BC. Probably going to end up in Winnipeg or in Edmonton. Winnipeg would be funny though. Probably going to end up in Edmonton. We talked to Farhan. Kind of wondering if there's a little tampering deal going on there. I don't know, Harry. Like Buck Pierce makes obvious sense. Former BC Lion to go back there.
I like the idea of these in any league. CFL is no exception. I like the idea of new coaches. Give some of these guys who have either played the game or been around the game a shot instead of recycling the same coaches over and over and over again. There's got to be something to be said for fresh eyes, fresh perspective, new room guy. Like, there's a reason why these guys have coached 7 teams or 6 teams. And yes, they might have a good system, but it's you got to evolve, I feel. And I think BC would be smart to go with somebody who's new.
Yeah, so again, Farhan wrapped it up pretty good. He was there with the Lions today. We'll run that again in hour 3. Also in hour 3, if you're following this hockey thing and these kids, players in BC at the BCHL, they're now saying, hey, we want back in Hockey Canada. Okay, we made a mistake. Can we come back? Because they want to go play the WHL, then go NCAA. So Gerry Johannson from agency, one of the largest agencies in Western Canada, is going to join us. And also football in hour 3, Mark McConkey, coach of the U of R Rams. We gave him a few days. He's on his way to the Vanier Cup, stranded in Calgary, but he's going to make time for us in hour 3. It's the all-new Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com.
620 CKRM on location.
We're back here in Leroy. I'm Cody Glyden with the Leroy Leisure Lotto. Now, how would you like a brand new truck for like $100? That's a pretty sweet deal. Now, you may be asking, what's the catch? There's no catch. Just buy a ticket, $100, 3 for $250. That could get you your choice of brand new 4x4. Then comes the travel trailer. Then your choice of the Sea-Doo with trailer or 2 ATVs. Maybe you don't want that if you win the grand prize. Maybe you just want cold hard cash. Well, you can get that too for $130,000. Second prize is that 7-person hot tub or $10,000. Third prize $5,000. 20 draws of $1,000 and 10 draws of $500. Ask about the 50-50. Give us a shout tonight. 1-866-925-3769. 1-866-925-3769.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know.
That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
The Husqvarna Season of Savings deals is on until December 7th at Prairieland Rental. Get deals on select Husqvarna items, including snowblowers with up to $400 off. Shop where the contractors shop, and you know you're dealing with local experts. And at Prairieland, you deal directly with the owner. They appreciate your local business, and they've got everything you need for your projects. They'll even deliver. The Husqvarna Season of Savings deals until December 7th. Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street, prairielandrental.com.
Hun, I'm starving. What do we have to eat?
Avoid the annoyed.
Western Pizza.
I really don't feel like cooking today.
Avoid the annoyed.
Western pizza.
I want lasagna.
I was thinking Caesar salad and garlic bread.
I had my heart set on chicken wings.
Avoid the annoyed.
Western pizza.
Avoid the annoyed with Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or take out. Order today.
Western pizza.
Your friends at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea have exactly what you need this fall. From muzzle loaders, rifles to shotguns, you are totally covered this hunting season. Plus, browse through their great selection of ammunition, optics, calls, trail cams, scents, knives, and more. The hunting store that has it all at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea. You have a friend in the game. Main Street, Avonlea, or check out prairieguntraders.ca.
Be the reason Saskatchewan children have hope for a brighter future when you donate to Jim Pattison Children's Hospital Foundation. Support the Making Spirits Bright catalog at pattisonchildrens.ca. Your gift supports equipment, programming, and research, helping children and families across the province receive specialized care at Saskatchewan's only dedicated maternal and children's hospital. Double your donation thanks to a match by Thrive Wealth Management. Make a difference today by donating to Jim Pattison Children's Hospital Foundation at pattisonchildrens.ca.
Whether Smokies after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. There's some blowing snow and it's minus 11 in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound and Fort Capel. Stay connected with the new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Yesterday was ugly outside as winter reared its head across much of eastern and central Saskatchewan. Blowing snow caused hazardous conditions on Saskatchewan roads, with RCMP responding to 120 weather-related incidents yesterday and today. Regina Police responded to 10 collisions between 5 p.m. yesterday and 4 p.m. today. The worst may be over in terms of snowfall, but reduced visibility and slick roads remain concerns across much of the province. Police urge drivers to check out road conditions at the highway hotline and consider postponing trips if possible. The RCMP stressed the importance of staying alert and prepared for rapidly changing conditions. The Animal Ag Tech Awards will be back for its second year at Canadian Western Agribition. So the CEO of Agribition, Sean Kindop, says that there are a few awards up for grabs this year.
We've got the Rising Star Award for the new startup. It's not quite as established. We've got the Most Innovative Award, and we've got the Business of the Year. So there was some incredible technology that was on display last year, and it's very exciting to see where the industry is going.
This part of the show is designed to recognize innovative businesses for their work in animal agriculture technology. 3 Saskatchewan credit unions have announced that they're exploring a merger. Yorkton-based Cornerstone Credit Union, Regina-based Connexus Credit Union, and Lloydminster-based Synergy Credit Union say that they aim to create a stronger province-wide credit union with the amalgamation. If approved, the merger will be recommended to the members, who will have the final say. Connexus has 30 locations, Cornerstone has 15 branches, and Synergy encompasses 12 locations. Hurricane-force winds have slammed parts of the BC coast as a massive storm swirling off Vancouver Island severed highways and cut power to more than 200,000 people overnight. BC Hydro's Ted Olenek says the high winds sometimes hampered crews' efforts to restore power to residents.
And certainly if the winds are blowing too strong, we're not going to put crews in harm's way. It's still very dangerous out there. Large branches are flying and falling down. We don't want to put crews in an area where they could potentially be injured.
There were still about 95,000 customers without electricity as of this morning. And Alec Baldwin's Western film Rust had its world premiere today at a film festival in Poland.
Rust is premiering at the International Film Festival of the Art of Cinematography Camera Image in Turin, Poland. The premiere is dedicated to cinematographer Helena Hutchins, who was shot on the set in Santa Fe, New Mexico in 2021. Star and co-producer Alec Baldwin pointed a gun at Hutchins during a rehearsal when it went off. A New Mexico judge dismissed an involuntary manslaughter charge against him. Hutchins' mother, Olga Solovey, says she refuses to attend the premiere because Baldwin has refused to apologize to her and will unjustly profit from killing her daughter. I'm Argie Zaraletta.
That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when... Uh-oh.
There are some things that can get spoiled. A sunny day, maybe.
Aw, and no umbrella or anything.
And then there's Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer, where they have all the top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features. With such a wide selection and so many great plans, nothing can spoil it.
Yay, rain!
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
The Husqvarna Season of Savings deals is on until December 7th at Prairieland Rental. Get deals on select Husqvarna items, including snowblowers with up to $400 off. Shop where the contractors shop, and you know you're dealing with local experts. And at Prairieland, you deal directly with the owner. They appreciate your local business, and they've got everything you need for your projects. They'll even deliver. The Husqvarna Season of Savings deals until December 7th. Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street, prairielandrental.com.
It's 5:04, and I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast, brought to you by Line-X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and for Croft Electric. 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all electrical needs. CroftElectric.com and all socials. Now here's Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
While we are not completely out of the woods with additional flurries and with additional blowing snow, conditions do continue to ease, our wind very slowly backing down. It will continue to do so through the night. Evening hours 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. By morning, down to 10 to 20. That'll take care of most of the wind, and any flurries which come down through the night are not going to be significant, amounts less than a centimeter. Temperature falling to around minus 14 tonight. Wind chill staying near minus 20, even as the winds back down. Through the day on Thursday, the clouds break to partial sunshine. High around minus 8. Still, though, a chance of a flurry toward the end of the day and into the evening especially. Could be up to a centimeter for Thursday night. Low near minus 12. Friday, cloudiness starts the day. Partial sunshine for the afternoon and a high of minus 9. Watching another storm system coming in, bringing a chance for some snow later Saturday. Likely snow Saturday night. Some heavy snow possible. Lingering Sunday. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon is minus 8, Swift Current minus 10, Assiniboia minus 10, Broadview Moosomin minus 8, Yorkton Melville minus 8, Estevan minus 10, and Weyburn is minus 11. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's cloudy. Winds are from the northwest at 24, and it's minus 10. Regina has some blowing snow. Winds are from the northwest at 37, gusting to 49, and it's minus 11. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Croft Electric. You've probably heard of us because we've been around for over 27 years. We do commercial and residential work? Yes. We do permanent holiday lighting? Yes. We do cabins? Yes. And farms? Yes and yes. We're an authorized Generac generator dealer. We are a full-service electrical company with the experience and the people to service all of your electrical needs. We are Croft Electric. We will be here when you need us. Do it right, do it once. Follow us on all social and call 306-586-1333 to book.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Regina Motor Products, proudly serving Saskatchewan for over 70 years. Visit rmpchevrolet.com today. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
RMP right now, perfect timing. If you're slipping and sliding out there, you get in there. They got $100 off select winter tires. at our Wednesday sponsor, Regina Motor Products. Harry, we've been buzzing so hard. I forgot to look at the text line, and we got people jumping in all over the place. We are giving away the 2 tickets to the freestyle bullfighting event. This is freestyle bullfighting. Do yourself a favor, look it up online. It is absolutely psychotic and crazy. It is Tuesday night only at the Brandt Center. We got 2 tickets. Text in, say you want to go, and then the question there, if you want to chime in, is bull riding different? Bull riding, is bull riding a sport? I think it is. But we have people chiming in. Andrew, I've been to the bullfighting, went last year. There's a league for bull riding called PBR, bull riders like JB Mooney. Yes, that one we know. Everybody's chiming in on the bumper shining. Like, people bumper shined back in the day. Big Perry texts in. He says, ultimate small town bumper shiner, taking an old Lazy Boy recliner and a rope behind it. Yeah, that's next level. Kurt says bumper shining was awesome. Kurt's got it. Bumper shining was awesome in slippery moon boots. Yeah, moon boots. We all had those as a kid. Very popular in small towns, says Judy. Darwin used to bumper shine all the time back in the day. No one wanted and then back to the street hockey. No one wanted to be a net if someone from the other team had the toothpick stick. If you had a pick, you'd let that nylon. If you had a nylon and a pick guy, you get the heck out of net. And no one had helmets back there in net. John the Habs fan, he says Lane Hudson for the Calder. So thanks to everyone texting in on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Word on the street is he's stranded in Calgary at the airport. Maybe he made his way, it looks like he's in an office building. I was going to say maybe he found his way to a tavern. Head coach of the U of R Rams, Mark McConkey. Mark, we usually do this on Thursdays, and we were so close to doing this on Thursday, which would be tomorrow, to the Vanier Cup. We gave you a few days to kind of decompress after that wild ride. Can you put it into words? Just the game last weekend and really how close you guys were?
Yeah, still processing it for sure. My wife the next day was like, "Oh, you guys did so well," and I was like, "No, don't want to hear it. Don't care. We should have won that game." I feel like that's one we let slip away. And again, you're going against Laval, one of the best teams in the last 2 decades. And honestly, I thought we were better than them. I thought if we could score in the red zone, if we get a stop at the end of the game, if we don't throw a pick, there's all those things you can go back and replay. But at the end of the day, it's a good measuring stick, and it shows our guys just how competitive Canada West is. And if you can make it out, you definitely give yourself a chance to go to the Vanier.
It was 17.5 point line, which I looked at it and I'm like, that's crazy. Like, that is a huge underdog. At what point of the game, maybe it's before the game, but be honest here, at what point do you say we can play with these guys?
Honestly, it was after their first drive. They went 2 and out. We got a couple first downs and flipped the field, and I think we ended up going up 3-0. And I was like, we're good. Like, we know what our defense is. We were more worried about their defense because obviously it was 2 good defenses coming into it, but I knew we could move the ball a little bit on those guys. But again, unfortunately, we just didn't score in the red zone when it mattered early on and missed a field goal. But early on, I had a good feeling about what we had and compared to what they had.
I don't want to overstate it, but in a football as life metaphor, do you, even though it wasn't the result you wanted, do you still impart on the guys that this just goes to show you that forget hype, forget who's favored, forget anything, and it just shows you that when you strap on your gear, you can achieve whatever you set out to achieve?
Yeah, absolutely. And I said at our breakfast fundraiser, I said prior to us losing, like, name a better story in sports right now, right? The NBA is kind of boring right now. It's early. NHL is just getting going. CFL's done now that the Riders were out last week. Like, there was no cooler story than a 3-5 team that just keeps upsetting the number 1 seed, the number 3 seed, and arguably one of the best U Sports teams of all time going into that game. And we were favored one time all year and still ended up winning 5 games, 6 games, whatever it was at the end of it. So, I don't know who makes those lines. They're not very good at it, but I think it's just, again, just proud of the way the guys battled all year, right? Like, you lose 5 straight, everyone's counting you out, and they just kept coming back to work. And they knew what we had, and we just found a way to finish games. Unfortunately, lost the tough one to Laval, but again, proud of the group, and it was pretty cool.
What does Coach Glenn Constantine say to you after the game?
Glenn was great. He just said congrats, and I think we maybe even caught him by surprise on how good we were. Again, I think we earned the respect from him and the Laval players. Of I don't know if they thought they were going to come in and just walk all over us, but I think they definitely knew they were favored. The kids look at that stuff on social media, and I think we gave them a heck of a fight. I mean, we got the lead with like 3 minutes left, and then they had a nice drive and scored. And so I think we put a little bit of doubt in their heads, but ultimately they came up big at the end, and we weren't able to.
What does this do for the program, Mark? Because you got a lot of guys coming back, and you're hosting the Vanier Cup last year. Everyone obviously wants to play in a winter, and you want to play, if you're at home hosting it. What does this do for you guys?
Yeah, honestly, it makes recruiting a lot easier. Like last year, we were 1-7, and I thought we had a really good recruiting class. And now this year, we're 3-5. But you're Hardy Cup champions. You're 3 points away from the Vanier Cup, and my email's been. That's one positive of having this 8-hour layover in Calgary. I've been able to fire through my emails and talk to recruits, and but yeah, it's been great, and lots of players want to come. They want to win, right? And that's who you want in your program. So it definitely helps with that, and obviously. Then you get support from the community, alumni donations, all those things. That everything just trickles down from there.
What are the so how many guys totally do you lose? Obviously Hodel, who was an unbelievable interview. He's been at the program for 8 years. What a great guy. How many are you losing for sure?
Yeah, we're gonna lose 6 for sure. And then Parker Hodel, Jackson Stomback, Cameron Ma will be the big ones, but. Guys like Garrett Hatcher, he played special teams linebacker. Dallin Keene was a tight end, but he got hurt. So again, I love those guys, but those are we got guys ready to fill those spots. We're not losing 22 like Manitoba is. So we're going to hopefully reload and be back at the top in Canada West next year as well.
What's the off season like for you as the head coach? I know you said you're talking already to some recruits and all that, but what is the next few months? Do you get a chance to kind of be a dad again and kind of hang out and all that?
I did that on Sunday. It was a tough day, hanging out with my kids all day, and then Monday kind of right back at it. Started recruiting. We got a recruit actually coming back to Regina Friday, and then again, my wife doesn't like this, but over Christmas break, there's a recruiting blackout, so you can't really do much. So. From December 20th to January 5th, I'll be off completely, and I'll be a parent then.
Right on. I can't. You know what? It's weird. I can't wait for the Rams supper or dinner next year. Now with just all the hype and the hype around everything there, and the Cinderella story. It's so great. Thanks for doing this. It's been awesome to watch. Super exciting. I know people are in the text line loved it too. It was just a great story, great season, total success, and I can't wait to chat again.
Perfect. Appreciate you guys always having me on. That's awesome. Appreciate what you guys do for amateur sports.
Right on. Thanks, Mark. Travel safe, by the way, whenever you do get out. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Head coach of the U of R Rams, Mark McConkey. I don't know if there's any kind of provincial coach of the year still awards or Sask Lotteries, I think, still has that. Heck, citizen. Do they still have Citizen of the Year awards? Put him in that too. Yeah. And really all the coaching staff for what they did. You gotta, and I know some people maybe passively follow it, but you gotta scratch your head and go, okay, they were predicted in the preseason poll to finish last, and then how the season went, and was it 2-5, 3-5, and got to win one to get into the playoffs. All right, they snuck in and they win the playoff game in Manitoba. Then they go to Saskatoon, they win. It's
a Disney movie.
Close. Yeah. Whatever the Canadian version is.
It's got all the trappings of a Disney movie where it's this feel-good ragtag bunch of never wases or never will be's, and they rally and they find something within their own room and they rise above the big machine and achieve great things. It's a total Disney movie.
I think Mark McConkey probably doesn't sing to animals or anything like that.
You know that there's other Disney movies? Have you ever watched, was it Mystery Alaska?
No.
No? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not talking it's not an animated movie. It's a Disney movie like Mystery Alaska or...
Well, then why call it a Cinderella story?
You know, here's a job for you too, smart Alex. Look up National Film Board of Canada, see what kind of funding we can get to maybe do a little program.
Hey.
Yeah. It is. That was great, though. And thanks for him for hopping on. So much more to come. We're going to go back to hockey here. We got Farhan Lalji. We're going to run that again for you in this hour about the move in Vancouver with Rick Campbell being out. But when we come back, we'll go into hockey, and then we're going to be joined by NHL agent Gerry Johannson. It is the all-new Sportscage, streaming sportscage.com, and as always on 620 CKRM.
Harvard Media really appreciates local businesses. We know you do too, and that's why we're giving away a $50 gift card to a local restaurant right here in Regina. We have a great line of local restaurants lined up, like Bar Willow Eatery, Tommy's Speak Eatery, Lakeshore Restaurant, and Schmitty's Smoked Meats and Catering. These restaurants are great for business lunches, casual get-togethers, or just to go out. All have dine-in or pick-up options. Visit their websites for their latest menus and hours, and tune into our radio stations to find out how to win.
620 CKRM on location.
Back here in Leroy, it's the Leroy Leisure Lotto, and ticket sales have been actually pretty good here today. Overall, we do have some lines open right now for you. Tickets are $100 each, 3 for $250. What's that going to get you? Well, that will get you into the draw for all 34. That's 10 draws of $500, 20 draws of $1,000, a draw for $5,000, a draw for a hot tub or $10,000. And then that grand prize, your choice of a leisure package, or $130,000. The boys have been talking about hockey. If you've always dreamed on going on a bit of a hockey getaway with your buddies, maybe down to, I don't know, California or Florida or Texas or whatever, well, maybe with your winnings, you could use that for a sports getaway weekend. $130,000, that'd be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? Give us a call. Get your name in there. 1-866-925-3769. 1-866-925-3769.
The Husqvarna Season of Savings Deals is on until December 7th at Prairieland Rental. Get deals on select Husqvarna items, including snowblowers with up to $400 off. Shop where the contractors shop, and you know you're dealing with local experts. And at Prairieland, you deal directly with the owner. They appreciate your local business, and they've got everything you need for your projects. They'll even deliver. The Husqvarna Season of Savings Deals until December 7th. Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street, prairielandrental.com.
Hey, farmers, ranchers, and producers. The Acres for Education campaign by Agriculture in the Classroom Saskatchewan is challenging you to invest in your farm's future by donating to agriculture education. Students today are our future workforce and consumers. Your donation will get students out of the classroom, giving them real-life experiences that will shape their views on agriculture, help inspire today's youth, and build a resilient agriculture future. Donate at aitc.sk.ca/acres for education.
Sometimes everything can look perfect on the outside, but inside, things could definitely be better. Luckily, Fries Tobin has everything you need to finish those indoor renovations this fall. That's right, interior reno season is here. So head to Fries Tobin for all the installation, drywall, interior doors, baseboards, and casing materials you need to make your home cozy and welcoming for the long winter months that lie ahead. Visit FriesTobin.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel. Fries Tobin. Let's get you building.
The Dark Hall Presents series is proud to present J.J. Voss and Friends Saturday, November 23rd, featuring Megan Kelly and special guest Dean Cush of Faster Gun. Don't miss J.J. Voss.
And all I know is I want to go home. All I know is I want to go home.
Tickets at the Dark Hall box office and at darkhall.ca. SCMA legend and legacy award-winning Faster Guns Dean Cush.
Yeah, you're back again.
SCMA multi-award winner J.J. Voss.
I'm playing for keeps. I'm looking for you.
J.J. Voss, Saturday, November 23rd at Dark Hall in Regina, featuring Megan Kelly and special guest Dean Cush, part of the Dark Hall Presents series.
I'm playing for keeps.
The newest king of trucks in Saskatchewan is Southie Mainline Chrysler. Get up to $20,000 off MSRP on the Ram 1500, Dodge Durango, and Jeep Grand Cherokee. Plus, an additional bonus cash up to $2,500 on select models. Our remaining 2023s have up to $13,085 off. Just 30 minutes north of Regina. SouthieMainline.ca. Worth the drive every time. Guaranteed.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
Harry and Shank and the Seas are with you here. Again, we have Farhan Lalji to end the show. We're going to talk about the Rick Campbell thing. We had him off at the start of the show. Hockey in the area tonight, right here in Regina. Tri-City's in town to take on the Pats. Tri-City coming off a 3-1 win over Swift Current last night. Medicine Hat travels into PA after losing to the Blades last night, 5-3. In the SJ, Kindersley and Notre Dame going at it again. Little double dip, back-to-back nights. 4-2 Hounds last night at AAA style in Estevan. Pat sees Estevan making the right call there. They've postponed that game. No traveling tonight. One Canadian team on the ice. In the National League, Vegas is in Toronto to take on the Leafs. Austin Matthews still out there, if you're sprinkling. He's in Germany, or he was in Germany. Some sort of injury. So we've talked about it the last month here, and it's been wild with in the junior hockey, where now if you play Major Junior, that's WHL, Quebec Major Junior, OHL, you now can go play NCAA Division I hockey after. Braxton Whitehead from the Regina Pats, the first to kind of come out with a verbal commitment to ASU. Then the ruling came down, I think it was November 7th-ish, something like that, where the NCAA said, yep, it's a go. And now it sounds like it's been a land rush. It is, I think, great for hockey personally. Some of the leagues might struggle. They're going to have to get creative, but it's wild what's going on. Fortunate enough to go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline right now and be joined by Gerry Johannson of the Sports Corporation. If you go onto their webpage, you can find out all the athletes and hockey players that they represent. Gerry, thanks so much for taking some time today. I know you're a busy guy.
No problem at all.
I want to start with the BCHL. And BCHL, for some people out there, for lack of a better term, kind of goes rogue last year, and they go away from Hockey Canada, and they're kind of doing their own thing, which now that this ruling's been made with the Major Junior to NCAA loop, I've heard that it's upwards of 50 players that are now trying to get out of the BCHL and basically ask Hockey Canada for reinstatement so they could go to the dub. Is that kind of factual, or any truth to that?
Well, I'm not sure if it's 50, but for sure there's going to be a fair number of players that are going to sort of reassess the path they were on and maybe choose to go to the Western Hockey League and still keep your NCAA option open. So, yeah, this rule change really affects every league to some degree.
What is the process, and to go through Hockey Canada to ask for reinstatement?
Well, as it stands right now, I think if a player wants to be reinstated, there is a process, but it's not overly, it's not that big a deal. I think most players that go through it will get approved fairly quickly because, Hockey Canada wants players to be in a sanctioned league of Hockey Canada. So I think it's in their best interest to have players come back to the Western Hockey League. And you're right, the BCHL sort of took a left turn on everybody by opting out of Hockey Canada. And I think there was some short-term benefit, and now there's going to be a reset.
How do you think the BCHL, if you could predict, that it'll look in the next 2, 3, 4 years? Will they do you think this will force them maybe to go back to Hockey Canada?
Maybe. It's sort of like every market disruptor in any business. At first it's very, it's disruptive. So there's a lot of changes, a lot of what ifs, but usually everything settles out into normal. So I think what we're going to find in a couple of years, everything will settle down. Like the BCHL can take more Americans, the BCHL can take more Europeans, so they may have to, dive into those markets a little bit more. The Western League's going to get players that traditionally might go to Junior A to keep their eligibility, and the NCAA is going to start taking players from Major Junior that weren't ever on the table for forever. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of moving parts.
Gerry, is it safe to say that the reaction that you found from most people in regards to this news is kind of like a finally kind of mindset that this is allowed to happen now?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm certainly kind of pleased that players have more options. I don't think that ever hurts. In our business, certainly we want players to have more options, and everything was so structured for so long. Hockey hasn't changed in, as long as I've been around, for 40 years, so it's been the same. So now you have, largely the NCAA changing with, the portal. That was the first thing, and then the NIL money, the second thing, which is all sports, but it certainly trickles down to hockey. Now them changing their eligibility rules, which makes sense actually. Like, saying that major junior hockey players are professionals isn't quite right, unless you're signed. So here we go. The dominoes start to fall, and it's going to be crazy for the next couple of years. But like I said, it'll all settle in, and it'll become normal here soon enough. And I think everybody will find their own way. But it's going to be challenging for everybody, for sure.
I always kind of like to look at both sides of issues like this and kind of play devil's advocate a little bit. And I've asked this of a few people that we've had on the show. Do you see any drawbacks to this change, or what are the negatives? It can't all just be roses and sunshine. There has to be there always has to be a loser on every side of an issue like this.
Well, I think there's winners and losers in the short term, for sure. I think at the end of the day, the players are going to have to they have more options. So players now are empowered to do what they think is best for them, right? So I guess, Junior A, the player that wants to go to the NCAA, there's really no downside to him going to the Western Hockey League in this case, right? There's no downside. So why wouldn't you play on the best junior league in the world and see what you can do, And then you got your major junior guys, your Western Hockey League guys who, may reconsider college, because that decision for major junior guys is always made at such a young age. Like at 14 or 15 after the Bantam draft, you're trying to decide which direction you should go. You sign a Western League contract, you're ineligible. Now they have the option. So, it's going to be determined. Obviously, the lower guys on the food chain are going to have to be more creative. I think there's going to be a lot of shifting, but I guess you have to always wait and see how it actually works out. The Western Hockey League is a really good product. The NCAA obviously is a very good opportunity. So I'm just going to have to see how it all settles out.
Do you think this benefits teams in the CHL? Let's maybe go Western Hockey League, that American kids now are going to come up and give this major junior thing a run before, where it might have been the USHL or North American League or something like that?
Yeah, I think in a weird way the NCAA and the CHL will probably be the biggest beneficiaries of this. So we'll see. But there's really no downside now for a top American player to come play in the Western Hockey League or the Ontario Hockey League or whatever. And then obviously the Western Hockey League or the CHL is going to have to keep their A game on and keeping their players, because, the NCAA is going to be able to come in and poach players, anytime they want, really. So there's going to be competition where there was always competition at one level. Now there's sort of competition throughout the whole pipeline. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah.
For some of maybe, your prospects and your younger guys that you have, now is there more of a, they need guidance, they need help as far as the academic side of it? Because you still have to, the NCAA clearinghouse, you still have to have the grades, especially if anyone has the fortune to go Ivy League too, right? Like you can't just be, a 60, 70% student. Like you got to keep up your grades. Are they looking for guidance from you guys on that now?
Well, I think, the root of our business forever has always been player by player. So every player is its own thing. So we're always working, as much as we have a lot of players at every level, every player you sort of take as a separate issue. So I think, depending on the player, there's going to be opportunities for them or better routes to go or, more options or less options. So, I think it's everything school. The Western Hockey League is a great league. If you're a signed player, if you're drafted to get signed, maybe you stay on that track. If you're an older player, maybe you need to change. So for us, as much as there's a big picture out there, for us it's fairly simple. It just goes back to the individual player and what's best for them and their family.
Wow, this has been awesome, Gerry. Hopefully we can steal some of your time again down the road here. We'll see how this plays out. I think it's absolutely fascinating, and thanks so much for taking some time.
Anytime, my friend. Buckle up. It's going to be interesting the next year. So
hey, I gotta
keep it posted.
I got a first-year bantam kid, and I don't know, it's a long ways away, but just all of his buddies and everything now, they're all talking about it, right? It's like wild.
It's for sure.
Wild.
It's good, yeah.
Wild
competition is a good thing. Yeah, let them all figure it out. It'll all work out.
I still want him to golf. Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about anything.
Exactly.
It's a lot cheaper.
Point.
It's a lot cheaper for Dad.
Exactly. And warmer. Exactly.
See you, Gerry. Have a good one.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
That is Gerry Johannson, owner of the Sports Corporation, a massive agency based in Alberta. On the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect night for Western Pizza. Pretty crazy stuff, Harry, though, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's funny because I keep asking the question about winners and losers, and without knowing all the inner workings, I feel like the CIS is the natural biggest loser in all of this, because I think now the lure of going south of the border to a sexy NCAA school after you play dub is way more attractive than sticking at home and going into university.
That's going to be interesting to watch for sure. And that's where some guys, and then some people are like, there's no way. And some are like, well, some are thinking some of these CIS schools might look at, can we play in one of the conferences, NCAA?
Right.
Alaska's got 2 teams. North Dakota's right there. Minnesota's got a whack of them.
And then the thing about it, too, is that there are so many NCAA schools.
Oh.
So now you've just added all these schools to this pool that was so shallow before, especially if you went the CHL route. But now you've got this, it's like a whole new world has opened up. It's like learning a new language. It's unbelievable. Like the ramifications of it are unreal.
Rosetta Stone style. I love it. And the other thing is we were born 30 years too late. Now,
for sure.
Any kind of hard work from any kind of kid with marginal skill, you have so many options.
But they didn't bumper shine.
Did not bumper shine. Have no idea what a nylon.
You can't put a
nylon.
Can't put a price on those kind of experiences.
Let's come back, and before we get Farhan, maybe we'll talk a little bumper shining and street hockey for all you fans out there. Keep the text coming on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line too. It's the all-new Sportscage streaming at sportscage.com.
620 CKRM on location.
It's Cody Glyden back here in Leroy for the annual Leroy Leisure Lotto. This has been going now for 21 years. They've been making a lot of people happy around Saskatchewan for the past 21 years, and they want to make you happy Saturday night, just after 8 o'clock. Now, the deadline is Friday night at 8 o'clock to get your ticket. We are talking some big money here. There are 10 draws of $500, 20 draws of $1,000, a draw for $5,000, a draw for $10,000, and then the big one, $130,000. What would you do with that? Would you put that towards flying somebody home for Christmas? Would you use it for Christmas shopping? Maybe you want to do some renovations around the house like what I would like to do. Maybe it's time to go on a little winter vacation with the family, spend some time with the kids, enjoy it. It's up to you, but you got to have a ticket, and you need that ticket ASAP. 1-866-925-3769. That's 1-866-925-3769.
On the farm, dirt doesn't just get under your fingernails. It runs through your veins. Your equipment is just as tough. You bought it for its rugged dependability and efficient operation. To keep your machinery running as good as the day you bought it, you want genuine AGCO parts, fluids, and filters from Nick Service. Their friendly parts staff has what your equipment needs to keep it running at the top of its game. Keep it genuine at Nick's Service, your local genuine AGCO parts headquarters.
You've been waiting. Black Friday savings are on now at the Wireless Age, your SaskTel authorized dealer. Save on your favorite devices with the lowest prices of the year. Save on SaskTel wireless plans with special offers for new and upgrading customers and bonus data. And save on accessories and device protection plans. On for a limited time, act fast. Shop in store or beat the line with curbside pickup or free Sask-wide shipping. Get the device you've been waiting for. See thewirelessage.com for details. Your SaskTel authorized dealer.
The next item up for auction is entry to the Canadian Western Exhibition. We'll open up the bidding at $25. $25. Who will give me 20? $20 bid, 20. Do I hear $10 bid? Who will give me $10? $10. Who will give me $0? $0 bid, $0. Going once, $0 going twice. Sold for $0.
Connexus members get free entry to the Canadian Western Exhibition. Pick up your multi-day pass at any Connexus branch.
Hi, this is Shannon Forrester with Floor Coverings International. People tell us our mobile flooring showroom and seamless service experience is an easier way to buy flooring. Our consultation takes place in your home, and from our on-time, on-budget installation to our final walkthrough, our team is with you until you're completely satisfied. Check out our Google reviews and see why we are the 5 stars of flooring. Don't let our name fool you. We are locally owned and operated. Visit floorcoveringsinternational.com today.
Stay connected with us any time of the day. Call or text us 306-936-6262. Driven by Capital Ford Lincoln, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. CapitalFordLincoln.com on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
Yeah, the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. So the problem I see with everybody that chimed in that said it was such a small town thing, bumper shining. If people are just tuning in because they didn't catch you got to go back to the first hour. It's hilarious. It's when you hammer on the back of a bumper and you slide around town. We did it in buses out on the west side in Saskatoon. I lost a glove. Told that story. That was unfortunate. Brand new glove from Quinn the Eskimo. But it was just something that we did as kids. We don't want kids going out and doing it tonight by any means. We're just talking about it. It's such a small town thing from everybody that is messaging in. Problem is, Harry, everyone knows who you are.
And there's no buses in small towns.
So you have to do it behind Olga's K car or Grand Marquis.
Mr. Radich's Impala.
Yeah, but then you're going to get busted. Oh, did you hear that Barney and Chris were bumper shining behind Mrs. Blah, blah, blah's vehicle?
Yeah.
Old man Marley?
Yeah.
He's going to be mad at you. And then the other thing we talked about today was just the streets, how they're packed down, and it's so awesome out there right now for street hockey, which no kids play anymore. They'll never have an idea of the struggle of trying to find another net. If the guy that didn't have the other net wasn't coming over and he had to use boots or clumps of the snow from a vehicle, and then a guy gets mad and he starts shooting that and someone gets hit in the eyeball. It was just, and then we went, you said you didn't like the nylon puck. You liked the regular spongy.
I like the spongy better than the nylon, yeah. The
Tennis
spongies
ball?
were hard to find. Tennis ball was better than the nylon. I think it was either spongy or tennis ball. But
if I remember, I'll post it to the Sports Cage Twitter. Not that anyone cares, but I found one of the really good black spongies in my garage yesterday when I was looking for a winter jacket that vanished. Yeah, those are hard to come by. If anyone knows where you can get a good spongy these days, sponge puck, not the orange one.
No, not the orange one.
Yeah, those
pale imitation.
Oh, Bush League, and then orange.
Yeah,
whoever designed those. Lots of fun again, buddy. We're gonna wrap it here because we're gonna throw it to the Farhan Lalji interview from earlier about the firing of Rick Campbell in BC. Good show, lots of fun.
Always.
Are we going to break, Colson? Okay, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to have Farhan Lalji. Thanks so much. I'm back tomorrow with Dave Thomas, hopefully. Check it out. It's a good interview with Farhan. Coming up.
620 CKRM on location.
Hey there, it's Cody Clayton back here for the Leroy Leisure Lotto. How you doing tonight? If you're just home right now and before you settle in for your favorite TV show tonight or the CMA Awards or anything like that, give us a call so that you know you've got your ticket into that draw drum for a chance to win a whole bunch of money. How does $130,000 sound to you? Do you think you could find a place for that? Maybe you want to use it for a nice little winter getaway. You take a look outside, you see that snow blowing there, you see some of the streets have disappeared in Regina, and you're going, yep, time for Cuba. Yeah, time for Jamaica. Well, maybe you could use that money for a trip like that. Spend some time with the kids, have a great time with the family, just enjoy life. Tickets are $100 each, 3 for $250. 1-866-925-3769, 1-866-925-3769.
Hey, it's me, Terry, the Talking Tire. Have I got something for you? Regina Motor Products has got instant rebates on all the top brands when you buy a set of 4 tires. That's a $120 rebate on new Bridgestone Blizzak tires, $90 rebate on new Pirelli Ice Zero Asymmetrico tires, or $70 rebate on all other Pirelli tires, $90 rebate on new Firestone winter tires, $65 rebate on new Michelin tires, and $50 rebate on new BF Goodrich tires. Regina Motor Products has your winter tires. Visit rmpchevrolet.com.
This winter, make sure you have tires that are ready to handle the snowy and icy roads and get them at Quality Tire. If you don't have winter tires, this is the time to get them. At 7 degrees Celsius, the rubber on all season tires start to harden in the cold. With winter tires, you'll be able to stop sooner and avoid the accident in front of you, and start driving quicker in case the car behind you doesn't have winter tires from Quality Tire. With 9 locations across Saskatchewan.
QualityTire.ca. Greenhouse gas pollution heats the planet
and threatens our nature.
Canada's carbon price is designed to reduce this pollution in order to protect our environment.
And the Canada Carbon Rebate gives money back to Canadians.
In Nova Scotia, an individual gets $412 this year, with a bonus for those in rural areas.
Have it both ways with the Canada Carbon Rebate. Find out how it works and how much you could receive at canada.ca/carbon rebate.
A message from the Government of Canada.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
Regina Pats hockey is back, and that net is wide open to renew your plates. When you take that big slap shot, do it online with Dusick and Barlow. Request a quote for anything you need. It's a true breakaway, and as easy as it is for the Pats to score that winning goal. When it comes to online plate renewal, there's no high sticking involved, just the most valuable players in the game. Your local Regina insurance brokers, Dusick and Barlow. Local owners, local business, saskinsurance.com.
Farmers, grain, poultry, cattle, barn, house, and more, a generator is a necessity. Whether you need to keep operating during an outage, keep water bowls from freezing, grain drying during winter, or need power at a remote location, you need a generator from Shorty Generators. Now is the season to buy or service your generator on the farm to be sure you always have power when and where you need it. And Shorty services all makes and models, including PTO generators. Come by and see them at Agribition this year at booth 1004. ShortyGenerators.ca.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Farhan Lalji from TSN joining us. Perfect, eh? We were going to talk today anyway, and then all the big news when it comes to the CFL and kind of sporting world in Canada happens in Vancouver today. Rick Campbell let go by the BC Lions. Farhan, first off, was this like old news? Did you know this was coming down a while ago, or is this a surprise to you?
No, it's not a surprise. I think many of us kind of thought this was the direction the organization would head in. But truthfully, like for all the people who thought this decision had been made, like Rick Campbell was in here yesterday, still talking personnel with Neil McAvoy and Ryan Rigmaiden, right? And the the president and the owner kind of went through a bit of a process, and then yesterday they made this morning they made the decision and informed him. I mean, I think last night they made it, and this morning they informed him, but it wasn't the done deal everyone assumed it was. They did have to go through a process. They wanted to wait until after Grey Cup to started, but look, ultimately this team really, really underachieved and disappointed relative to expectations and what was spent on it. So here we are, right? Coaching change after 4 years.
Who would be the front runner there? Is it Buck Pierce?
BC's already asked for permission to speak to Buck Pierce, so that's he'll be one of the guys. And I do think they kind of want to lean offensively, right? So I think that's part of it. I think Jordan McSimic will get a real opportunity here to interview and potentially be the head coach, right? And that's kind of common, right? I mean, I know that Saskatchewan did it differently. They just went through the process and they weren't hung up on what the side of the ball profile was of who they hired, right? And Corey Mace did such a good job in his presentation that he was hard not to get excited about. But I do think here the offensive guys might have a bit of an edge. And I just think there's so many defensive guys available league-wide that I think teams kind of go through this where you fast-track offensive people simply because you want to get that side of the ball taken care of. So, but I do think that Mark Killam will get strong consideration as well. As a special teams guy, I do think Mark Washington, formerly of Hamilton, but a longtime BC Lions player and assistant, I think will get some interest, and there'll be some others. So, they talked today about interviewing 8 to 10 candidates, but as I see it, I think Pierce and McSimic probably become the front runners.
Farhan, this seems like it's got to be more of a big picture move. I mean, when you look at it at the end of the day, they're only 2 wins away from the Grey Cup. If they win and they make the West Final, does this move still happen? Like, how it's got to be part of a bigger picture moving forward.
Well, look, I think it's easy to say it was just 2 games, but it isn't. Like, look, if the Lions went 12-6 again and just looked better all season, but wound up getting upset in an early playoff game, I think the conversation would be different, right? When we got to the final month of the season, I felt that if the Lions lost in the first round and didn't have a home playoff game and went meekly into the night, which ultimately is what happened, that there was going to have to be a decision made and the team's going to have to go through a process. Whereas if the team had just played better during the season, even if they didn't have the playoff success, I don't think you react. So it's easy to look at it and say they were just 2 wins away, but this team was not a contender. They were legitimately not close. Who thought they were going to win the game in Saskatchewan? And had they gone to Winnipeg, who thought they were going to win that game? Just based on their form over a larger sample size this season, I think that's what you look at as opposed to a team that theoretically was 2 wins away, because for all practical purposes, they actually weren't.
Did he have that locker room? Was he liked do you think from the guys that you're around that team a lot?
Like isn't the right word, right? I just think that I do think he lost portions of the locker room based on how he handled the quarterback situation. And I think that's hindsight. You talk to the people here, and everybody here, myself included, felt like at some point Nathan Rourke was going to revert back to 2022 Nathan Rourke, that it was just going to happen, and then we wouldn't be having a quarterback conversation. Whereas last year when it happened and they didn't give Vernon an opportunity, like right away, should they have kept the door open that Vernon was going to get his job back or had a window to get his job back? They probably should have done that. That certainly took Vernon aback, and certain players were taken aback. Now, let's say they had done that, and then Nathan hit it out of the park and played at 2022 levels, and they just kept the job with him. You wouldn't get the pushback. But then they didn't make the commitment to Vernon in 2024 that they did to Nathan in 22. Then he didn't perform to that level. So just kind of the way it was handled, and I say this before, this is purely in hindsight. They handled it wrong purely in hindsight, because you can get why they did some of what they did when those decisions were made.
Over under a week that he's announced a head coach in Edmonton.
It's a good question. They haven't asked for permission yet, but that's only because Rick was informed this morning. I think they will ask for permission, but yeah, probably. I would probably say just over a week. I don't think this process takes that long, but I do think that Mark Killam is going to get serious consideration. I think Jordan McSimic might as well. Jordan probably gets more consideration if they think they might lose him to BC, right? Because I think if you want to keep Trey Ford as your quarterback, you better get the offensive coordinator right. And when you look at what McSimic did to both Rourke in 22 and Vernon Adams in 24, and in 23 as well. I think you got to find a way to get him there. So I do think those two other names will get consideration, but certainly Rick Campbell will rightfully be the heavy betting favorite.
League-wise, what else are you curious about in the short term here when it comes to the league?
Where Vernon Adams winds up in a trade, and I think it's going to be Calgary, but I'm trying to get a sense of what the actual market is. Because, I do think that while certain teams seem solidified at the position, the guy they're locked into, is older. And so there might be a bigger market than you think. I think we'll find that out in the next couple of days. Certainly the one team we know for sure that's going to have an interest in Vernon is Calgary. But I'm curious to see, how committed Edmonton is to trade forward, and how committed some of these other teams are to their older veteran quarterbacks.
And what kind of asking price comes with that move?
Well, it depends on the size of the market, right? I mean, if it's only Calgary will probably push back and say, we're not going to give you a first-round pick. We'll wait for you to release them. But if there is a legitimate market, and all it takes is two, if two teams legitimately want them, then they're going to get a first-round draft pick. Now, Edmonton doesn't have a first-round draft pick, so it might have to be a different type of compensation. But, I would think that that's probably a reasonable asking price, given the fact that BC traded him for a first. They gave up a first to get him back, and he's a significantly better player now than he ever has been. So his value should only be higher, even if teams aren't desperate in the offseason like BC was when they acquired him 3 seasons ago.
What would we have for odds for talking gambling? Maybe plus 1,600 odds if the Riders are interested?
I think the Riders are intrigued more so than interested, right? Like I do think they understand as an organization that they got to look down the road, right? But I think they're really happy with Trevor Harris. I think they're aligned in that. And I think they've already talked about Trevor Harris coming back, I talked to Trevor last week, and it sounds like any family concerns there might be are behind him, and he's got full support of his family to come back. He just wants to make sure his body's in the right place and that the organization knows that he doesn't want to just play one more year. He'd like to play, 2 to 3, and I think he would like to sign a multi-year contract, as proof of that. So I think all those things are part of that. So I think there's a comfort level. Mark Mueller and Trevor get along really, really well, but I know that Mueller also has a lot of respect for VA. So I think, again, intrigued more so than heavily in the market in this moment.
Where do you think Cody Fajardo plays next year?
My gut tells me that he will be potentially a backup quarterback in Edmonton. He or Jake Mayer might wind up there. I don't think they want to let Davis Alexander out of the building in Montreal. No one has told me that Cody's on the block, but Cody at the end of the year himself said that if it might not be the best thing to have 2 elite quarterbacks in the same building, right? So, is there a huge difference between Davis Alexander and Trey Ford? I don't know. But certainly Trey Ford's demonstrated a bit of an injury history that you could go there and maybe you could, find yourself there for a year. Could they both wind up back in Montreal? They could. I think it's unlikely, but I really think it's even more unlikely that Montreal lets Davis Alexander go.
Okay, get the notebook out, Colson. Okay, we've had this debate all week. We're asking you. We're putting Farhan Lalji's name, and then we're ask you. We're shifting to the NFL now. Okay, a lot of hard questions today, Farhan. You can say the Kansas City Chiefs, but we went around the horn all week so far. What is the team that beats the Kansas City Chiefs this year in the playoffs?
The Detroit Lions.
In the Super Bowl, then?
Yeah. Buffalo's going to do what Buffalo does, and they're not going to beat Kansas City in the playoffs. Now, look, when Kansas City gets to a Super Bowl, I have a difficult time seeing them lose because that's their place, right? Like, that's what they do. So, the right answer might be the Kansas City Chiefs, and it depends on what their health and injuries and everything like that look like. But I'm not on Bills Mafia. I think if any team's going to beat them, it's going to be the Detroit Lions.
They get to the Super Bowl, and they're exact opposite, basically, of the Blue Bombers. But we had around the horn, we've had Pittsburgh, we've had Buffalo, we've had a Philadelphia Eagles, we've had Detroit Lions. Darian said Detroit Lions as well yesterday, right, Darian? And then I said Baltimore. So I don't think they're coming out of the AFC.
Of all those teams, I don't think has a chance. I don't think Philadelphia does. Of all those teams, I think the other teams could. Right? I don't want to dismiss them entirely, but Kansas City's got playoff magic. They proved last year they don't have to be at home to win. But right now, things line up for them to be at home. There's a game coming up, I think, December 8th when they play the Chargers. I think is going to be really intriguing. I think that's the only team that has a chance to beat them the rest of the season. So, I really like Kansas City's odds of getting back there. They're only going to get healthier as things progress here.
Yeah.
That team has a greater opportunity to get better by the time we get to late December than anybody else.
Since it's my game, I got 2. I put a long shot on Houston as well. Sneaky Houston in the playoffs. Hey, is San Fran for real, or are we writing them off?
Yeah, we're writing them off. They haven't shown us anything. I mean, look, Seattle is not a good football team. Like, they are not good. And for Seattle to go there in San Francisco and beat them with Christian McCaffrey at full health, like, their top playmakers aren't making plays right now. And then you got George Kittle kind of in and out with injuries. So a lot's riding on McCaffrey, a lot's riding on Brock Purdy, and their defense isn't playing at an elite level. I know Bosa got hurt, and that kind of allowed Seattle to tread water a little bit when they were in that game. It may have been different if Bosa stays in for the entire 4 quarters. But every week I wait for San Francisco to turn the corner, and every week I'm disappointed.
I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. Okay, last one before I let you go. And this is strictly for gambling purposes for me. This week, who should I put money on to win the college football playoff?
To win the college football playoff, I'm going to say Georgia. Whoever comes out of the SEC is going to be so battle tested this year. I'm not there on Oregon yet. Now, look, I'm biased. I'll admit that. But I'm not there because I saw so many flaws earlier in the season, and I saw some in that Wisconsin game as well. Ohio State, I still like.
They're the favorite. They're the favorite where I sprinkle.
I know. Look, and I like them. And look, they were the favorite coming into the year, but they're getting injuries along the offensive line. I'm not convinced in them at the quarterback position. So I just think that whoever comes out of the SEC is going to be so battle-tested that's going to be the team. And from what I've seen thus far, I like Georgia better than Alabama and Tennessee.
Roll Tide. All right, Farhan, thanks so much. Let's regroup next week, and hopefully it's another day like this with a lot to talk about.
Thanks, pal. Talk to you soon.
Farhan Lalji from TSN joining us. It is the all-new Sportscage streaming at sportscage.com.
It's 6 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News. Randy Boissonneau is leaving his post as employment minister in Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's cabinet after the National Post raised questions about his past claims of Indigenous heritage. The Post